As the leader of the Booner Pack, I lead from the front.
All right, boys. Lock in.
It's our core foundation, man. Grit.
I'm fired up. I'm fired the up, boys.
It's pumping right now. It's got my juices pumping, boys.
Oh, my goodness. A Victory Friday.
Woo!
Lions, Packers, we're breaking it down here on Crunch Time. Jeff, Booner, Lucas, appreciate you tuning in. We got a packed show today. Pick them later in the hour. A lot of Lions, Packers. Huge win, boys. Huge win. Lions are without a bunch of players. A ton of players. I mean, the most players in the league on IR, by far. And they have other guys on there as well that, it's unfortunate. They still find a way to win by the leg. Well, the nuts, the cojones of Dan Campbell in the one knee handoff by Jared Goff, D-Mod, but also the leg of Jake fucking Bates. He seals it. Another one, by the way. That's 3 on the year. Hit a clutch one, Vikings. One against the Texans. A long one, by the way, 50-plus yarder. And then he hits it was a 30-plus yard field goal, but still clutch. I mean, tied game in Ford Field, like prime time game. Let's go. Hey, Lions, they don't drop.
On the one.
Hey, what did we say? Just win, baby, and they won.
Come on now.
That's all it is. But I don't even know. I was looking for my glasses, my victory glass. Can't find my victory glasses. Don't know where they've gone. But I don't know. I don't know where they're at. All I care about, honestly, though, Dan Campbell. That's all. That's all I care. I was going off yesterday, boys. After that, I looked at Jeff this morning. I said, I was going off at Dan Campbell for a little bit. Yes. Don't care. Like this man, I've seen it all over today. Like people apologizing to Dan Campbell. This man, I think it was Ryan Clark that said it today, fellas. You should never go for it on 4th down there. Both of those times. But Dan Campbell's allowed to. He is the only coach probably in NFL football history that where you look at it and you go, hey, you're allowed to do that. Anyone else can't. You can do it, Dan Campbell, because you walk around with balls of steals in Detroit. You're allowed to do whatever you want. If you want to go for it 4th down at the 1-yard line, Dan Campbell, I will allow you to do it. I do not care.
I will allow.
Dan Campbell can do. He could go for it on 4th down whenever he wants. That's on me, Dan. We have accountability here in the city of Detroit. We have accountability with this football team. If someone makes a mistake, I'm sure Dan's like, hey, just own up to it. Own up to it, brother. And guess what? I'll own up to it. Dan, never again will I question a 4th down. And, hey, I'm pumped, boys. I'm pumped. By the way, too, like the stats that are coming out today, the Detroit Lions. Guys, the Lions scored 6 touchdowns versus the Green Bay Packers this year. 6 touchdowns. Guess what? 4 out of those 6 of those touchdowns were on 4th down. 4 of those touchdowns out of the 6 total touchdowns the Detroit Lions scored versus the Green Bay Packers this year, 4 of them were on 4th down this year. 4. Like, that is an unbelievable stat, fellas. Unbelievable. They own the Green Bay Packers now, and I can't wait. In a little bit, we're going to do some – we're just going to look at some Green Bay Packers fans. And you know what's crazy, too? What's crazy to me, and we're not, like, certified. I guess we cover the team, and sometimes I'm a slappy. But some of people that cover the Packers, some of those people that are just obnoxiously disrespectful towards, I guess now I'm thinking about it, we cover the Lions, so, and I'm obnoxiously mean and probably say some bad things about Tucker Kraft.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know, but these guys, man, I know we've had, Peter on, we had him on the show a couple weeks, the last time we played the Packers, and Peter, great, really nice guy. He was a good guy. But the stuff that I was seeing yesterday on Twitter of him and his video and everything, which we're going to play everything. We're going to go everything.
Yeah.
It was shocking to me. The Lions have beat the Packers 6 of the last 7 times they've met. Like 6 of the last 7. And the Packers are at the point, fellas, where they have, like, I tweeted it today. They've played 3 teams this year that are probably top 10 in the NFL. They're 0-4 versus those. 0-4. 0-4 versus all the top teams they've played. They can't. So Packers fans, and I'll tell you this real clear. Look you all in the eye. You probably should stop worrying about the refs. You should stop worrying about players potentially getting injured and the Lions being a dirty team. Maybe you should actually, for the last 24 hours, watch the game film. Go look at your head coach, Matt LaFleur. Go look at your quarterback. Go look at your defense. Go figure out where you guys can find a way to actually win a good football team, like beat a good football team. Because you guys can't. You can't. I don't care how young you are. Stop telling me how young you are. I don't care if you're the youngest team in football. Quit telling me how young you are. You're in the NFL. This isn't college football. We have a lot of freshmen. No, you win or you don't in the NFL. So maybe you guys should stop worrying about they're so dirty and the refs, and you should just figure out how to win a football game because you're 0-4 versus actual good teams in the NFL this year. Maybe you should have spent the last 24 hours, Peter, looking at Matt LaFleur and the way he's whining and pouting on the sideline instead of coaching his football team and getting a 4th down stop. All right, Peter? All right, Matt LaFleur? All right.
Hey, Saginaw Valley Cardinal, but there's a difference between Matt LaFleur and Trevor Nowaski, all right? Trevor Nowaski's out there laying people on their ass. He's not worried about all that talk that Matt LaFleur does. But in all seriousness, this was probably the most satisfying game to watch just because the Lions, all you heard all week is that this is the one they're going to drop. They're so overwhelmed with injuries that there's going to be no way they get to Jordan Love. And what do you see first play? You see Jamal Adams starting, coming off the edge at the nickel spot, making a play, pushing Jordan Love in the pocket, and then getting sacked by a former Packer and Zadarius Smith. And we'll get more into the defensive performance. But Aaron Glenn, another masterclass. I genuinely don't know how he keeps on doing it. Like, it's insane. It's like when you think of, like, systems, like in pro sports, most of the time, like, you look at Kyle Shanahan's system. He's got all those players. It's like, yeah, they're going to play better. But when you have 13 guys on IR on the defensive side of the ball, and you're starting guys that you picked up 3-4 days ago, 1 or 2 weeks ago, and they're making impact plays against a top 6, 7, wherever you want to rank the Packers team in the NFL. Hats off to Aaron Glenn. That dude, assistant of the year. And we've said in the past on the show, like Ben Johnson, through totality over his whole career, has had more success. But in 2024, offensive or defensive assistant, you cannot find a better one than Aaron Glenn. You cannot. That dude just keeps doing what he needs to be doing.
Yeah, I mean, if the Packers fans or media or whoever have a problem with the game, there's a thing called accountability or self-reflection. We brought up on the pregame.
All the time. We do it here in Detroit with the Lions.
You are the team that scored 7 in the first half. The Lions scored 17 in the first half, 17 in the second half. The Packers woke up late. It caught up to them. The Lions were they were the better team. And it's crazy to say that because they had all the injuries. Like, that's what people have to understand that want to talk trash or say it's the refs. By the way, welcome to the club. As a Lions fan, Lions fans have had to deal with the referees ever since they were born. That's why the saying Detroit versus everybody really means more with sports fans. That's a real thing. It's not just sports, but with sports, it really does mean a lot. Refs, screw the Lions, screw typically Detroit sports over. And I know referees are always the thing fans point to, but it's ironic when I see any other NFC North specifically fan base saying referees, Packers were robbed. Yeah, welcome to the club. You know how many Packers games I've watched in my lifetime, Lions-Packers, in which the Lions were screwed by the refs?
That Monday night game, Sunday night game, whatever it was, and it's just Trey Flowers' legal hands to the face. And what's even crazier, too, is, like, they're talking about all these penalties that went the Lions' way when each team had 7 penalties in the game. And I'm sure we'll get into it more, but it's like if you look at it, both teams got called 7 times. Like, there was calls that the refs missed for the Lions, but they were letting them play a little bit. And then when there was a clear, obvious pass interference, they called it. Like, the Lions got screwed on some penalties. The Packers' opening drive was created because of penalties, and they still couldn't capitalize off of it. So I do not want to hear any of it.
You know, Packers, you know what kind of vibes I'm getting from maybe Packers fans? It's like the rich person, male or female, whoever, but something happens and they're like, I'll sue you. Like, they can't handle any. I'll just sue you.
Guys.
That's the vibe from Packers fans I'm getting. They take an L. It's like, I'll sue you.
The Packers have won for a million years, and the Lions have gone through this turmoil, and it's not even just losing. It's just like it's literally the Lions have lost games in playoffs because of the refs. Lions have lost players from dirty play. Like, this is something that, and if this was happening versus like the Vikings or versus the Bears or just any other team in the NFL, it would be okay. You're talking about the Detroit Lions. Like, you cannot complain in a game versus the Detroit Lions that the refs, like Peter saying that it was rigged against. Guys, like, what are we talking about here? You look like a loser fan base. Like, just it's unbelievable. Like, we have dealt with this for 40 years. We're not comparing. No, I don't want to hear Ohio State. Turn your head real quick. Turn your head. State fans. Turn your head, Klotzy. Turn it. Other way. All right, there you go. We're not talking Ohio State here. We're talking Lions.
No, I'm saying like Ohio State.
I know what you're saying. I get it. I don't want to hear the OSU, Ohio. I don't want to hear those words for the next 12 months, please. And thank you.
12
but
months,
it's just like 12 months. What?
You go on.
No, keep going, Boone.
But no, it's just it's like the Lions have had that for so long. For you to complain about that in a Lions game, like we're gonna have any sympathy for you, or the NFL fans are gonna have some. Like, it's literally, guys, Packers fans complaining, every other fan base besides the Vikings fan base and the NFL being like, shut up. Like, you guys are annoying. Like, everyone's Twitter right now and for you is literally just Packers fans complaining. And the NFL world is like, shut up. You guys are terrible a fan base. Like, is this what you guys are like when you guys are losing? Because if you're losing in the league, I don't want you in the league. Like, you guys are the worst fan base of all time. Like, well, take it with can you lose with a little bit of pride? Like, what are we doing here? Like, welcome to losing a football game. We've dealt with it for 40 years. Figure a way out to do it an honorable way and shut up, close the door. You still have the playoffs to worry about, and quit complaining. Matt LaFleur, quit whining.
Quit whining, Matt. I feel like anytime they pan to Matt LaFleur on the sideline, he's just bitching. And it's just like there was like a legitimate serious point in the game, and Matt LaFleur it was in the fourth quarter, like last 5 minutes of the fourth quarter, and he would not shut up about one call. And like, you can say like, oh, he's passionate about the game. Like, no, dude, you got to forget about it next play. Like, you can't just keep bitching about the same thing over and over again. It's just one of those things where it's like, you got to be a little bit more mature than that. Like, you can't be that flustered going up against a coaching staff led by Dan Campbell, the rest of those guys. Like, it's not going to work out well for you because he's going to take advantage of it on like that 4th and inches. It's just,
you're asking Matt LaFleur to be more mature, the guy who got into it with a flag holder before the game? Are we talking about that?
Yes.
By the way, whoever that was, give him whatever he wants. Yeah, I think he rattled him to his core before the game.
I think Dan Skipper tweeted it was like, hey, he did like to him.
Ass whooping, 34-31. By the way, hey, we thought it'd be a high scoring game, boys. We said this.
I scored 65 points.
Yep, 65. We told it, hit the over, because that's how we'll get to the Dan Campbell stuff. But Dan even knew, and remember, said on the post game, watch his post game. He's going to talk about it. He said in the post game. I mean, it was always going to be a high scoring game. They had Jamal Adams out there, Quan Alexander. It was nice to see those two, by the way. It was awesome. Pat O'Connor was making plays. We slept a little bit on Pat O'Connor. They had Ezekiel Turner.
Shout out.
Ezekiel Turner.
4-7.
And I don't mean this to be funny. Who the hell is that? I didn't know who that was. And he's making play. He had the huge he grabbed Jordan Love's spot. He slammed him essentially. And Jordan Love missed a read on whoever that was in the end zone. But the Lions coaching staff, that was that might have been the most beautiful performance. And I know people were like, look at the 31 points and say the defense, they weren't really that good when you look at the points. When you look at what happened in the game, Josh Jacobs, Jordan Love, we'll get to the defense later, but all together, man, it was a great performance. You take that win. We said it. I don't give a shit if it's 3-0. I don't give a shit if it's 2-0 and you went off a safety. You win the game, you get out of there, and you move on. Because now they got, 10 days for guys to get rested. You're going to get some guys back. You're going to get Taylor Decker back. You're going to get DJ Reader back. You're going to get Lee McNeil back. That's great. It's heading into the Bills game.
And the guys that are playing.
Yes. And you shut the Packers out of the NFC North race, which is awesome.
Yeah.
You closed the door.
You essentially locked up the NFC North last night. Like, you were right there. Like, I know the Vikings are one game out. You go into week 18. If they don't drop a game, you go into week 18 and you they have to hope that we lose a game. And like, you could say the Bills game, then you still, you win in week 18, you win the tiebreaker, you're on. Like, there's no, like, you're sitting, and I know we have a conversation later on the 1 seed and all that, but like, you're sitting in a great spot. Like, it was a good job. They did it. I mean, they took care of business, fellas. I wish I could go back and clip all the people who were saying like, oh, it's okay if you lose this game. It's okay. It's not like, again, like I was saying it yesterday. Like, what are you talking about? Like this, it's one, it's not okay. And two, the Lions are going to win this football game. Like, why are we already acting like, why are we coping before the game that the Lions aren't going to win this game? Like, what are we doing here? Like that's where I'm a little like, what are we doing? And then some of those same people will be like, I'm all in on the line. You're like, what are you questioning them winning yesterday for? They were never going to win that or lose that game.
Well, let's hear from Dan Campbell. He had his post-game press conference. Shout out Skip.
Yeah.
He looked like, I mean, the boys have been in situations like that where one guy's puking over there in whatever it is. And it's like, everyone's cheering him on. It's kind of the Skip moment there. Skip's rallying.
Skip is a legend.
Hey, but let's pull up the post game here from Dan Campbell. This is one of my favorite ones so far.
I told you you'd never forget this game. You will never forget this game. We don't have to talk about how tough we are. We don't have to talk about how resilient we are. We live it, man. We've been living it. Where's our defense at? Offense, that's a way to step up, man. That's a way to step up. There you go, Skip. Keep throwing up, whatever you're doing up there. Freaking land on the line. Guys, I'm so freaking proud of you, man. That's a way to show up. You talk about pressure, we live in pressure. That's where we freaking thrive. You did it again. You did it again. All right? It doesn't matter who's playing for us. It doesn't matter what's going on. You always find a way to win. That's what champions do. This is not happenstance, man. This doesn't just happen. This has been in the making, man. This has been in the making. All right? We are all supposed to be here together, man. We're destined for this. Just stay the course. That's 12, and that's 4 in the division. All right, I got 2 game balls. All right? First one here, 6 receptions. I can't read this first one. I'm going to say 43 yards, 2 tugs. This first one since 2021. Can't catch it.
Go. Thank you guys, man. Thank you for embracing me. It's been a hell of a ride the past 2 years, and I wouldn't want to go on this ride with anybody else but y'all. Appreciate y'all boys.
All the stats you need is he won the freaking game again. Jake Bates.
Hey, I freaking love you guys, man. Let's get 13 next week.
Hey, you guys are warriors. You're warriors. Good win. Break it down.
Hey, like he said, this just don't just happen, boys. We're fucking different. Again, I'll say it again. This group's fucking different. Win on 3, 1, 2, 3.
Hey,
we're different. We're different.
Going from Jake Bates to Dan Campbell is such a dynamic. That dynamic in the locker room is crazy. Like just the blend of guys. We were talking about it kind of earlier. Like the offense, especially like even if you look at that whole team, like just a bunch of guys. Like you look at Kerby Joseph, Panay Sewell, Amon-Ra, just intense guys that want to go kill people, and then it just all gets like smoothed over with Jared Goff, who's just a cool, calm, collective guy. And you got like Jake Bates out there. You got Allen Robinson. It's funny to see just the age difference in some of these players, the difference in characters, but they all just mesh together into one cohesive unit.
I think there is like an overlaying, like when you get into the building there, like a lot of these guys, like, I mean, you're pulling guys who are on losing teams. You're pulling guys who have, almost won Super Bowl. Like it is such a group of, I don't want to say like misfits, but just like everyone's from different parts of the NFL. Like Pat O'Connor, who's played a career and look all these different things. And you're sitting there and you're like, this culture has built up to where you could bring anyone in this locker room and they just instantly a part of that culture. And it's like one of those things. Remember like 2 years ago, fellas, where we started having these conversations where we already knew there was a culture being built, but as we're like the trade deadline, the off season, all this, we're always like cautious of like, hey, let's bring this guy in. And the question would be, well, is he a Dan Campbell, Brad Holmes guy? Like that was always the thing. You're at a point now to where it's like, you can bring anyone. Like, yeah, you're still looking for guys like that. But if you come into this building, you have to do that. Like, that's what the culture has built up to be. It's like you have to be a Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes guy. And it's oozing all of that. And all of those players, like everyone, it's oozing. Even a guy who might not have even had that type of culture at any point of his career, like Jamal Adams. Like, he throughout his career, like people will go at him a little bit. He's came in yesterday. I mean, he had a hell of a game instantly. He only played 10 snaps, but like those
started.
He was
the
the first play of the game. He made an impact. And he's like, hey, I'm just here to win. Like, they'll win without me. And like to have that mentality, that's not just him having that mentality. That's him going into Detroit and them preaching to him when they brought him in. Hey, this is what we're about. It's either you're going to come in and do this or you're not, and we're not going to sign you. And instantly, boom, set the tone. That's what all these guys are like.
Well, it's similar. You see this a lot in like college football where you'll have like legendary coaches or programs and guys you won't really know because college now with NIL, it's like you really have superstars making a bunch of money. But before that, it was kind of the face of any program was the head coach. That's how it typically works. And then you have guys that are just playing well, but like Alabama always played, you look at like that's Nick Saban football, who no matter who was out there, you had superstars, but that's how it worked. Kirby Smart, same thing. Dan Campbell's, you see it like Bill Belichick kind of had this too when guys on defense would be just coming in and they'd be playing well. But Dan's kind of got that like college feel where it's like it's such a good culture. Guys just kind of come in and they just know their role and they don't want to let the guy next to him down. Like it just reminds me so much of like what, and I don't want to compare the championships. Obviously, Nick Saban, he's won a ton. But Dan Campbell might be on his way here. It just reminds me so much of that. It's like Ezekiel Turner comes in and just thinks, I got to play my best football right now. It's just like, I've never seen it. I shouldn't say that. You don't see it often done like this, where guys just kind of come in, know the role, and excel in the role. Usually, because in the league, in the NFL, guys have personalities. Guys are making millions of dollars. They're superstars. Guys have, everyone has an ego. It's just how it works. So when you get all these pro guys, adults, to buy in and really buy into a culture, that's what's impressive to me. Like Dan has a complete control on the entire locker room, and they look up to that man. He is like the one voice, one reason for the Lions. Like he is the face of the franchise. He's like hopefully one day, Nick Saban of Alabama, something like that. He just has such an incredible impact. So I love that. It's that college feel with Dan Campbell, man. No matter who's out there, I want to give credit to AG and Ben, the coordinators. They seem to thrive. It's honestly the sign of a well-coached team.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
I'm with them.
I want to, Boot, if you want to go through some. I've signed a lot of that too. The Packers stuff. You want to bring some?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's hilarious that again we talked about it earlier in the show that like these Packers fans, it's like they've never seen losing before, and there were like yesterday. It felt like there were also at times missed calls for the Detroit Lions, but when you lose the game, it's easy just instantly. Instead of, like I said before, what was some of Matt LaFleur's decision making? Some of these play calls, the defense couldn't step up for the Packers. Like there are so many things that you could complain, but instead of like looking in the mirror and be like, hey, that was on us, we should have won that game, you're just gonna deflect, and these Packers fans are gonna blame everyone else but themselves, like entitled fans. And it's not even just the fans, guys. It's like, it is like people who cover the team as well, which is, it's like shocking to me. It's shocking to me. So I got a bunch of different stuff, and I need you guys, we all react to it and talk about all of them too. So I'm not
gonna line them up. I want to see these butthurt tweets.
All right.
Yeah, let me see. I want to see.
All right, I've got like 10 here. We can just go through them and just cook these people. These people this is embarrassing to see some people. And then at the end, we have a special video for everyone. So I don't even know Kurt Benkart. It looks like what's that logo there?
Kurt.
The sleeper bot. It's a sleeper.
Oh, a sleeper guy. Okay, yeah. Shout out Honolulu Blues. I think they work for, or they're connected with the sleepers. I feel like the timeline I have here too, by the way, is like the game into the end of the game. So I love this. Kurt, hey, this game's already has a feel to it. 4 points given to the Lions on a terrible call. Missed roughing the passer from the Packers, would have had the ball on the Lions 30, but okay.
What is that feel? That's what I immediately go. Like, what this game already has that feel to it. What feel? I like seriously. I'm sick of the Lions haven't had that feel for my whole entire life, or most people's lifetimes, or a good part of multiple decades. Like, what the fuck does that even mean? 4 points given to Lions on a terrible call, misroughing the passer. Packers. I'm assuming he's referencing the Zadarius Smith like punch in the face. If you remember that,
so yeah,
that would have been the
that was maybe not clean, but happens. Don't get the call.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing.
Jared Goff gets hit all the time.
It's missed calls, and it's like if you want to bring this stuff up, fine, go ahead. But if you want to like die on that hill, that's why. Go look in that first quarter where Jordan Love finished, or first half where Jordan Love finished with 31 passing yards, and the long completion he had to Christian Watson. What happened? He fumbled it. That's Christian Watson, the guy that's supposed to be better than Jamison Williams and put up all these types of numbers that still consistently hasn't showed up. Your wide receiver and Jaden Reed. How many total yards did he have? 0. How many total catches did he have? 0. So, like, all of these things where this should compound back down to the refs, like we just talked about, it's just immature. Like, if they're going to miss calls, like, refs are going to miss calls.
Yes.
They're going to miss it for both sides. But over the total of the game, the flags were literally evenly called. So just cry about it. That's fine. But there shouldn't even be the situation where you're like calling for the roughing for the passer, because Jordan Love, with that offensive line that he has, with the weapons that he should have, should be able to dissect that injured defense and make plays. But instead, he's looking for the home run ball every time instead of taking the easy option. And that's why all these flags should be flags are being created. Like if you had good quarterback play, it wouldn't be an issue.
Yeah, and you guys know this too. And then the next one I have here, one of the big things, and I know you guys know this tweet, and there's a follow-up tweet to it. So we'll get to the follow-up tweet in a second. So I'll tease the follow-up tweet here. But this original tweet, this guy has probably been the worst guy on Packers Twitter. Like the worst. And we know the whole thing with Kerby Joseph, and everyone thinks he's a dirty player, this, that. This guy deserves to be locked out of Twitter for the rest of eternity. He should never be able to tweet ever again. Zachary Jacobson, he tweeted out and said Kerby Joseph might actually be a scumbag, and the league has to do something about it if they're truly about players. Instead of TJ Hockenson and Tyler Higbee's knees, exactly like this, and tried it again with Tucker Kraft last night. This guy, and if you go to his Twitter, we might have a couple other tweets from him. I don't even know. I want this guy to be banned from all football. He shouldn't be able to talk football. I've seen so many people talk about this hit and be like, if you are complaining about this hit, you have obviously never played football. And it's the same with the Tyler Higbee one, the TJ Hockenson one, because then I'm going to follow up with this, boys. The one biggest reply to all of this, and I know you guys all saw it, Zachary Jacobson got his absolutely dunked on, and this is where it's like, hey, buddy, you probably should never talk football again if one of these legends is tuning into it. JJ Watt. JJ Watt like the one guy in football, you're like, oh no. JJ Watt quote tweet, someone says, hey, besides keeping his head up, which he is absolutely should do to protect himself, has nothing to do with it, just to protect himself. Kerby Joseph, that is. How would you propose he tackle a tight end running full speed at him? Shoulder is directly on the thigh board. Football is a violent game. Not every hit is malicious. Also, don't watch a film of a cut block, which I'm sure is
I was going to say, cut block. That guy would be fucking screaming.
Before I let you guys go on this rant about this Kerby stuff, I'm just going to say this. Packers fans and Vikings fans are the softest people in the world. Like, complaining about these hits, when even a guy like JJ Watt steps up and said, listen, he's doing exactly what you're supposed to do. Welcome to football. You're supposed to take hits. You're going to get injured on some hits. That's part of the game. The blindside tackle on the quarterback, your left tackle gives something up, quarterback's not paying attention. Do you want to ban a hit on a quarterback being defenseless? Like, what are we doing here? Like, this is football. You're going to get hit. You're going to get hit in the legs. That's how you take down a big fella. Like, let's stop being soft. All those people on Twitter talking about it, obviously have never played football, know nothing about football, and they probably should never talk football again in their lives. I'll let you guys follow up on that.
Yeah, go ahead, Klotz. You can.
I just say, like, that's just what it is. Like, if you're a cornerback, like, how many times have we seen Derrick Henry stiff arm somebody to the ground? And it's so easy because they're going low at him. He steps aside and you throw him to the ground. People have been getting taught this Boone, when you were playing football and I was playing football, we got taught to tackle low because if you tackle high,
lower man
you're not
wins.
only going to hurt yourself, you're going to hurt the other player. Like imagine if Kerby Joseph would have went and headhunted Tucker Kraft there and did head-to-head contact and got 15-yard penalty. They would have been calling him even dirtier. So there's no winning when it comes to these fans just because they're going to be ignorant. There's the same people that I'm sure will get tweets pulled up later that are saying, how is Jared Goff not down with his knee on the ground handing the ball off? It's just people want to be upset, and they don't have any accountability with it. So and Richard Sherman even was talking about it last week on Twitter too. Like you can't expect people just to not be able to do what they have been coached to and have success to. Kerby Joseph has never been flagged for that in the past. He's never been suspended. He's never been fined for tackling like that in the past. Actually, that's how you're literally coached to tackle when you're at safety. Yep. And he's 205 pounds, 210 pounds. Tucker Kraft is 6'5", 260 pounds. So explain to me how he's supposed to do anything but go low on him. So yeah, I'm surprised I haven't heard more stuff about the Jack Campbell hit on Tucker Kraft, but you see it's Kerby Joseph, so the narrative's already there. But if you watch Jack Campbell and Tucker Kraft all night, those dudes were talking shit the whole time, and then you saw Tucker Kraft when he did the flexible, like he flipped up. Jack Campbell like headhunted that dude. That was another like potentially missed call where it was just like, okay, what do you expect him? Like he's just headhunting him. Like it was just helmet to helmet contact, and no one said a word about it because it was Jack Campbell, not Kerby Joseph.
Yeah, I mean, guy, and I don't need to add. I mean, you guys are hitting the nail on the, hitting the head on the nail, whatever the fucking term is.
Hitting the nail on the head. Yeah, right. The first.
Yeah. Actually, you don't want to hit your head on a nail. That's fair. Nail on the head. If you're Kerby Joseph's what, 6'1", 6 foot,
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. It was a 4-inch difference in height. And like you said, Klotz, you had 30, 40-pound advantage. Like most defensive players that play, actually, no, not every defensive player that's played in the league knows that's how you're supposed to tackle someone 40 pounds heavier and 4 inches taller. Like you're not going to go up high on a guy like that. It's just so, to me, it's a lazy narrative. It's just, grabbing at straws essentially. And honestly, seeing the Kerby Joseph is a dirty player thing, I just laugh. Like it's funny. If we watch every Lions game, the ones that really watch, no. I'll just say that. The guys who just see what's on Twitter and say, "Oh yeah, okay, well he's dirty, so we're gonna go with dirty." They have their opinion, so it's just dumb. I'm glad JJ put this dude in his place. It's ridiculous.
And the guy still is just talking on Twitter. This one too. This guy, it's the same thing. Basically, it's that fumble. You see the right picture's the same one we just saw, but the left one. I mean, I don't even know if this guy's a Packers fan. I don't even care.
This guy sucks.
But he just said, just for clarity, Christian didn't jump to get 3 more. This is when Christian Watson fumbled the ball, by the way. He didn't just jump to get 3 more yards. He jumps to save his knee from getting blasted. Kerby Joseph was at it again here. And Scoot here on Scoot. Who's Scoot?
I'm imagining Christian Watson.
Don't know why this guy's going some nicknames here. Okay, real cute. And he tried to later on Kraft as well. Yes, he needs to secure the ball high and tight, but I'll take a fumble over a blown out knee, and his ACL is more important to me. What a loser! Dude? What are we talking about?
That's just one of those things where it's like I don't even know what to say.
Like, no. I got one.
That's just a football play.
Klotz, I got you. One word: cope. That's all that is.
Yeah,
cope.
Perfect word.
Yeah, it's just cope. It's like you're making up some bullshit excuse. Oh yeah, I mean he didn't fumble. He was just trying to protect his knee, and it's cope. Like Christian Watson fumbled. That's it. Yeah. The dude, he and if you want to say protect your knee, let's just go with that narrative, even though it sounds stupid. How about you not hold the ball up in the air with one hand? How about we not do that? Because then Carlton can just poke. It's loose. Like how about we be a little smarter next time, Christian Watson? You fucking idiot. Honestly, this whole tweet is just ridiculous.
Can I just let me just help the boys out with this one real quick too? We've got examples.
I was looking for that tweet.
Even against the Lions here, like the Packers fans want to. I mean, look what this guy. I don't even know who this is. Is that Van Ness or whoever? On David Montgomery, because guess what? David Montgomery's a guy you can't bring down. So how do you tackle David Montgomery? You go low, and that's probably the best point of the Klotzy. They teach us that lower man wins when you're blocking everything. Lower man wins. Look at that. I mean, that's a clear that's worse than what Kirby's doing.
Hey, W Motor City Poison, whoever that is. W.
And then look at all the examples from the Vikings on the right. Knee hunting over there. If like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here?
No, I loved it. I love this tweet, by the way. Yeah,
because if you're a Packers fan, you literally have nothing to say after that.
Yeah, I mean, look at it.
You literally just see it's part of the game. Unless you want to say that should be a flag. If that's a flag, there's going to be no way to tackle in the NFL. Zero. People are going to be blowing out shoulders left and right, and then it's already a flag to tackle up high. So there's literally nothing there that you can do after that point if they want to make that illegal.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We're moving off of the Kerby knee thing because that thing just makes me mad. But this, and I'm interested to see what you guys think. Klotz, you specifically on this stuff with the Peter again. That's on me. Peter again. I actually had a couple other Peter ones. I just exited out of them.
We could do one just on Peter.
We could just do Peter. We could go to Peter's account and just scroll through it. And it's just, this man came out. He said last thing I'll say about the officiating, which it wasn't the last thing I don't think he said. He hates complaining about them. All right.
Yeah.
I'm not asking for the OPIs on the last possession. I'm not asking for the OPI on Patrick's touchdown. So if you're not asking for OPIs at all, I don't know what the tweet's for, because you're asking for the OPIs with this tweet. So this tweet makes no sense, first of all. I'm asking for the refs to let the players decide the game. They didn't. That's annoying. Well, Peter, welcome to our life the last 20 years, which the game was never decided by the players for 20 years. It was decided by the refs every single game.
Yeah, and they had 3 pass interference called on them. The first drive with Jaden Reed, one with Terrion in the end zone, and one later on in the game. So they had it. They literally had the ball at the 1 yard line.
Forget about that.
After a third down that turned into a touchdown for them. So they don't want to bring that up at all. It's one of those things where the Lions, they've got the most pass interference called against them out of anyone in the NFL. And they had 3 of them last night, and you still could not capitalize enough to win the game with that beat-up defense. So, again, it goes back to bad quarterback play. Jordan Love could have done so many other things.
Oh, no.
Do we not want to talk about the one play, speaking of Tucker Kraft, where they ended up scoring because of it? These are the things where it just makes me mad. Tucker Kraft, wide open in the flat in the end zone, and Jordan Love just goes fling, 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 and throws it to the side judge pretty much, and he just completely misses a wide open wide receiver. If you're just going to keep looking at the refs, instead of the guy that you just paid to be one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, instead of one of the best head coaches in the NFL, Jeff Iafrate did a much better performance than Matt LaFleur did yesterday, and it was just plain as day. So it's just frustrating because I think this is going to – the Lions and Packers, and I'm interested to see what you guys are going to say. I think that's going to be like the new rivalry in the NFL. You saw the 49ers and the Seahawks. You saw the Ravens and the Steelers, Ravens and the Bengals. You've seen all these rivalries in the NFL, but I think it's going to start turning into the Lions and Packers, the Vikings and Lions. NFC North is going to get those rivalries going again. And if it's just going to go falling back onto the refs every game, it's going to suck because these are genuinely good games that are being played. Like the Packers made hell of a game. They had hell of plays that were being made. And so I just don't – it's just annoying, like we've already said 1,000 times, that it's going back on the officials in this case.
You got the Peter Cliff, too.
No, I don't know, man.
Did you see the one where before we played, the guy that captioned it with like peanut butter expert Peter, like what it was the NFC North news guy. And he just like cooked him throughout the whole thing.
And by the way, we had Peter on when we had our it was a little moment.
Good guy.
We had costumes on. He is. Like he's actually a good dude. It's just when he goes into these like the tangents, like, and I hope Peter's watching. Peter, like, tough look, man. Like tough look for sure.
Well, welcome to come on and defend the.
I like Peter. And I think it'd be the same thing if it's the other way around. It's the rivalry.
I'm sure not for Packers fans, which is largely of his fan base. Like they probably love that, but like,
oh yeah,
like
this video, this clip, I think it went viral. I just kept seeing it last night, and this morning when I woke up, and it was interesting. Honestly, let's play it.
It felt like for long stretches of this game that the fix was in. That the Lions got the more favorable whistle at home. This is like an NBA game where the home team shot 30 free throws and the road team shot 15. That's what it felt like. And if that's what the NFL wants, I guess I understand it in a way.
No, you don't.
But that doesn't mean I have to accept it. Right now. This was embarrassing for the league.
Oh my gosh.
Embarrassing. It really was. I don't think any differently of the Packers after this game than I did going in. I thought it felt like for long stretches of this game that the fix was in.
I just want to hear that part again.
No, by the way, Peter, I can relate to the fix is in. Did you watch Dallas Lions last year? I thought I knew the fix was in after that game. So I can relate to you on that, Peter. But this one, no. It is saying like this is a terrible comparison. NBA home team away game, or the away team visits a home team and they shoot double the free throws. They had the same amount of penalties, same amount of penalty yards. What
PIs,
What
everything.
are you talking about, Peter? Let's think about this. It's not like the Packers had 10, 12 penalties and the Lions had 3. Like 7-7, and they both had it was like 50 yards, and the Lions had 2 PI calls. So
I think they're just terrified of saying like Pat O'Connor, Al-Qadeed Muhammad, Jamal Adams, Quan Alexander just absolutely game wrecked that game for him. Like if I was a Packers fan, I would at that point rather say the refs messed this game up rather than 4 guys who were signed to the practice squad 2-3 weeks ago, elevated up some even sooner than that. Like I think if you're a Packers fan, there's no way that you're not just embarrassed. Like that's an embarrassing loss, especially just like everything that's been going on with the Lions. Everybody like this is the time when the Lions can take the loss. Packers are going to be the team they need to watch out for to go to win the Super Bowl. It seemed like the Lions were going down and the Packers were going up, and that's what they probably expected. Like the division's going to be back in our hands. Everything's going to be able to be on the table for us, and instead they're going to be fighting for the top wild card spot. They might not even get that because they got to go up against Minnesota, who they already lost to. So they're staring at 3rd place in this division right now, and they were talked about a team that was a Super Bowl contender, could easily win the number 1 seed in the NFC North and the NFC in general. Jordan Love's going to look like the second coming of Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre. He doesn't know which one he wants to be yet because he doesn't want to be Jordan Love. He's still figuring out a lot of things. So Packers, I think fans are just realizing that this was a year that they wanted to be Super Bowl contenders, but they still have to wait at least another season or 2. And they got to face the noise of it now.
I would like to see maybe we can get some shirts in like some Lions colors and just says the fix is in. The fix is in, and get some shirts going with that.
Send it to Peter. He gets one.
It's incredible. It is incredible. Honestly, it's incredible that it's just like all of a sudden, the fix. Like, dude, you got I think Klotz, your point. Like, you've beat them 6 of the last 7 meetings, like dominating them. 6 of the last 7 games. Like that is, and it all started with the Aaron Rodgers final game as a Green Bay Packers. Like that hurts them last year. Like. They cannot. I don't know. The fix is in. That's one of the most. I think that's like the statement heard around the world last night. The fix is in. Like, what fix are we talking about? You're talking about like the Detroit Lions being the Super Bowl champions. Like, what are we talking about here, Peter?
It is good though because that's when you know like a team is good. Like a team is genuinely good because it's like you see it and honestly. I think there's more validity with it with the Kansas City Chiefs, but like people only do it with the Chiefs. When Tom Brady's with the Patriots, they did it with the Patriots, and Rodgers with the Packers. We did it with the Packers. Like we've seen how it goes on. It's just now it's like got to get used to this. 49ers, you've seen it a little bit, not as much, but you've seen games where people are just mad. It's one of those things where it comes with the territory of being one of the premier teams in the NFL or just sports in general. Yeah, it's the Lions are at the point where they're good and people are going to start hating them. That's how it is. I want to get into the 4th down combo because Amon-Ra spoke about his opinion on it, and I want to get the boys' thoughts. Now that we're a day removed to chat, feel free to chime in. I put a video out today on it. I think it's an interesting. I listened to some national shows, just kind of getting the vibe. I was yelling at my monitor watching these shows, like I can't blame them. They don't know. They don't know what they don't know. Like they don't have the perspective I guess we have on everything. But there were some dumb things said today nationally. Absolutely stupid things said today nationally. But let's play what Amon-Ra thought about the whole situation with the 4th downs.
We knew all game we were going to go for it. If it was anything 4th and close. That last one, I didn't know if we were going to go for it or not. But, once he said we're staying on. Either way, I feel like you can't really lose. Either you kick it and go for 3. Actually, if you kick and go for 3 there, then they have some time to try to come back and either tie it or win it. But we put the pressure on the offense, which we love, and Demo and the guys up front, they went and got it done. We knew.
Learning moments. I'm happy. You guys can talk about it too, but when I look at that 4th and inches play call, the thing that sticks out with me more is they literally did the exact same play that they didn't get it on the play before with 3rd and inches, David Montgomery. Yep. And they're willing just to be like, okay, We didn't get it one time. This is the best NFL offensive line in the league right now. David Montgomery is one of the best running backs in between the tackles in the NFL right now. It'd probably be like Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley, and then in between the tackles, you got David Montgomery. He's good outside of tackles, but as far as a physical running back, he's one of the best in the league. And then you go back to, okay, well, there's still time on the clock left. And you think back 2 seasons ago to Justin Tucker doinking that 67-yarder, Josh Allen on Thanksgiving, and then when they went into Minnesota and they lost off the KJ Osborne last-second touchdown. I think all of those things, when the Detroit Lions, it's like they can't figure out how to win a game. They're just figuring out how to lose games, and they're stacking the losses. And now it's going to flip on the other side of the spectrum. It's like, okay, we could go win this game, and we could leave it in the hands for the other team, and they can have something to happen. Or we can just, because we need it 3-4 inches, and we have David Montgomery, Penei Sewell, Kevin Zeitler. It was not a no-brainer, but when you really started to think about it in the terms of how Dan Campbell thinks, that's just such a Dan Campbell call. So I support it 100%. If Dan Campbell wants to go for it, like you said, Boone, you can't say anything against it at this point. Just who he is.
Yeah, I mean, all right, this is where I go with it at the end of the day. And I tweeted it out. I said it on the live stream. The first one that the fourth down one at the 30 that gave them points. What are we doing? But you realize very, very quick, fellas, and national media, Detroit Lions fans who are against Dan Campbell, you have to learn very, very, very quick. You live or die by the fourth down. You live or die by going for it and living on the edge with Dan Campbell. And you keep, guys, in this, I'm gonna continue to go for, not continue, but going forward, I am all in on Dan Campbell in the playoffs, NFC Championship game, Super Bowl. I see people saying, well, if you do that in the Super Bowl, you're going to lose a Super Bowl. No, because for the last 2 years, Dan Campbell and the Detroit Lions, this is why they are the way they are now going forward. This is the grit mentality, the kneecap biting stuff, is because they go for it on fourth downs. They end games. They bite your kneecaps. They kill you when it's time to be killed. Like, they end it. And that's the mentality Dan has. Jared Goff said after the game, they asked him, they said, did you guys talk about this going into this week? He said, first thing Dan did, that came up to them this week, the offense, and said, this is on your guys' back this week. We're being aggressive. We're going for it on fourth downs. And Jared said, all right, we're doing it. And they went 3 for 4. And they've scored 4 touchdowns out of the 6 total touchdowns versus the Green Bay Packers on fourth downs this year. I see guys like Peter tweeting out, well, you look at the Ravens a couple years ago, they went 4 for 4 versus a team in the regular season, and in the playoffs, they were heavy favorites, go 0 for 4 on fourth down and get blown out. This isn't this isn't John Harbaugh Ravens team. That's not what this is. This is Dan Campbell's Detroit Lions team, who have been going for it for the last 4 years. They know what their mindset is. They know who they are, and they know what they're about. Dan Campbell rolls his nuts out on the table. He sets them there and says, try and stop us. You're not going to. We're going to win this football game. And if you're a Lions fan or you're national media questioning that, you need to go back and watch the film. You shouldn't be a Lions fan then. You should not, because that's what this team's about from top to bottom. Fourth down, third down, second down, first down. They are about the same exact thing. It is grit, biting kneecaps, and we are going to dominate and kill you. That is what this team's about, and they live it. And that's what yesterday, that was an eye-opening moment for me. It was an eye-opening moment it should have been for a lot of fans. Because after that, you take a step back and go, all right, all my trust is in Dan Campbell. And you know what this means? After those decisions yesterday, fellas, I don't know what the Coach of the Year trophy looks like. Take it. Yeah. It is all yours. That was a coaching masterpiece. A coaching masterpiece. No coach in the NFL has the nuts to go out there and go 3 for 4 on fourth down. Go for it at the 30-yard line, not get it, turn around. After you don't get it, most coaches would be like, oh, we're not doing that again. No. Game on the line. If you don't get it, they're basically going down to kick a field goal to win the game. You go for it, and you put the ball in your offense's hand. You deserve Coach of the Year, Dan Campbell. That's your award. No one else's.
Boone, and you saying that you had an epiphany after that moment, and I spoke about this on the post game. I had mine after the NFC Championship game, so that's when I really started to turn and started to realize, like, okay, this is who he is. I said this on the post game, guys. I said right to the people. This is before Dan spoke. I said, go watch the press conference post game. I didn't even watch it. Obviously, we're live, so I can't really do that. We played some clips. So this guy's going to go to the podium and say, I knew what type of game we had to play. I wrote it down. He said, I knew how I wanted to play this game. He said that. He said, we knew what type of style we'd play. Knew the offense, had to carry a bit more with the injuries. I talked about that in the pregame too. And this should be an eye-opener for all fans. And I understand if there's still a section of fans that are skeptical or don't like going for it on fourth down. But here's where we can meet in the middle here. He's not going to go for it on fourth down every time. That's not who Dan is. Dan is someone that understands the flow of a game. He's played it. He's played in the NFL. He's played for different organizations. He's played under great coaches. He's coached under great coaches. He understands how a game is going to go. So when you play teams that you think it's going to be more low scoring, more of a defensive game, you might not go through. You might not make as many of those fourth down decisions as you typically would. Or if you play a game like this, the Packers game, which is 65 combined points, you're going to have to go for it. That's how the game's going to go. You can't get conservative. And he did it. So that's what I do love about Dan. It's not that the dude's reckless and just says, you know what, fuck it. It's like people say, oh, we're playing Madden on rookie mode. Or, oh, I wouldn't want to play blackjack with this guy. That's not who Dan is. He's not going to go for it on fourth down every time, but he understands when it makes sense, in what games it makes sense in. I'd rather Dan stick to who he is, stick to his true identity, than get away from that. I would much rather him go for it like he did against the Packers than go for it. And then when he's supposed to go for it, everyone's like, oh, you're going to go for it, right? He doesn't go for it. Like, you're all in or all out. So I loved it. Now, I saw this guy, Wild West, 4th and 20, let's go for it. There's times where you don't. But in a game like this, you had to. The defense, you had how many guys that just got signed off of the street, with all due respect, playing on defense? They scored 24 in the second half. You had to go for it in the second half. That play at the end of the game, I know it scared people. It scared us. We were live. That was important. That was integral. That was a must do, in my opinion. You don't want to give the Packers the ball back with 40 seconds and no timeouts. They're going to get a field goal. They are. And you're going to go to overtime. And Nick Wright, I'm going at him. I do like Nick Wright, but he says some things where I'm like today, he says, well, you should have the bad decision, high risk, little reward. You should have just kicked the field goal. And then if they do go to overtime, you're the better team. Nick Wright, that's not how that works. If you go to overtime, you lose the coin toss, the Packers get the ball and score, you lose the game. The Lions did the correct thing. Go for it, end game. Go for it, end game. Not kick field goal, give Packers a chance to win game. Not in that situation, not under those circumstances, not with the injuries the Lions had. So I had no problem with it. Loved it. I'm glad. Hey, Boone, I'm with you 100%. And this is who Dan is. Now, I'm not saying the dude's going to go, like I said, not go for it every single time, but there'll be games which it calls for it. Like, I'll bet you any money this week against the Bills, I can see being more aggressive. I can see that because you're playing a Bills team that can score points. Now, when you play the Bears again, or you play, the 49ers, you may be they're injured. You may be a little more conservative. Or if you play the Vikings, that might be a game where you're like, depending on how Sam Darnold's playing, you might be it just depends, like, on the game. And Dan understands that. He's way smarter than people give him credit for. Way smarter.
I think because it comes off as disrespectful, because it's like, oh, you think you just walk all over everybody. But to your point, he plays those aggressive games and calls those aggressive games against the better opponents, because he knows, like, hey, that other team, they have some playmakers. Like, Jordan Love hasn't had a good game, but if you watch Jordan Love over the course of his career and why they paid him, is because he can make some crazy plays when you least expect it. When you have Jaden Reed, who hasn't had a catch yet, guess who they're going to try to game plan to get that catch in a big time moment? Jaden Reed probably would have got his first catch. Christian Watson, big play down the field. How many times have we seen a deep shot down the field called for a pass interference, and now you got a kicker in Brandon McManus, your boy Jeff, who's kicking really good for the Packers right now, and he's got a boot. So when you look at it, they could have stole all the momentum right back going into overtime. That defense was good, but there was a point where that Packers offense was just more talented. I think that's why you saw in that second half those 20-plus points that were put up. So Dan Campbell is respecting the opponent, and it goes back to, like, You talk about Dan Campbell having that player experience, but then you just go look at AG, Kelvin Shepard, Antoine Randall, Sean Dion Hamilton. Like, there's so many guys on this coaching staff that realize that's why he's doing it. So when the players are kind of confused, there's no reason to be, because you know that those coaches that are coaching them know what the fuck they're talking about, and they've been in situations that are like that. You look at coaching staffs around the NFL, that's not the case. Brandon Staley was a head coach. And you look at, imagine the coaching staff that he put together. I'm sure there's some former players, but there's not Aaron Glenn sitting on sidelines. There's not. Antoine Randall was throwing dots in a Super Bowl to Hines Ward in Detroit. So you just look at how you can just buy into these fourth down calls. Every time it works, the confidence just grows and grows and grows. So when you miss one, you're like, okay, we missed one. We've got the last three. We're going to get the next one. And there's no concern within this team. So I love it. He just needs to keep doing what got him there. And I know it killed him in the NFC Championship game with being aggressive or not being aggressive at certain standpoints. That's going back on learning how to lose games is going to benefit him this playoff run coming up.
Yep. Yeah, and honestly, there's the argument people like to bring up. I don't want to say people. This is probably I don't know what the fraction is, the percentage of people, but they'll say, well, imagine if you don't get the third or the fourth and inches on that last play. Okay. Well, imagine you kick the field goal and the Packers score a touchdown, or they kick a field goal and get the ball in overtime and you lose. Like, we could do this what if game all day. That's why I don't even participate in it. I just don't. The
30-yard line won too, and I hated that. Like, I hated it in the moment. You guys know we were arguing on air about it.
Yeah,
I was just a little like 30-yard line. You're already winning the game. I was questioning that one, but I see the point with Dan to where it's if you get it, okay, like you can go down and essentially even try and end the game there and make it a 2-possession game. But like even the last one, guys, like the Packers back-to-back possessions put points up on the board. And I know like before when they went for it on the 30-yard line, the defense just got to stop. But like to end the game there's under a minute left. You could literally it's either if you don't get it, you trust your defense and offense to go into OT. And then if you get it, it's over. But like sitting there and being like, well, you just kicked the field goal. Like, no, your defense just gave up back-to-back scores, a field goal and the touchdown. And they did one of them. They scored a touchdown within 2 minutes. So like they can get down there and like Jordan Love, some of the playmakers that have like you just don't want to put your defense. I think it was very well known going into the game. That's why Dan told Jared like, hey, this game is going to be on the offensive back. And he was very vocal about that all week in press conferences because you had so many injuries defensively. Like you knew it. Like you had so many new guys on that defense instantly to where it's like, do you trust them in overtime or a 2-minute drill getting a stop? Like, yeah, you want to trust AG and all them. Like they did a hell of a job all day. Obviously the 30 points isn't ideal, but they did a great job in different moments. But putting that pressure on your defense in the like dead serious, guys. Who do you guys trust more yesterday's game with all the injuries and everything? Not even thinking about game winning, offense or defense?
Offense. Especially the fact you lose a Lee McNeil.
But yeah, so my point with that is offensively, it's like you have a chance to either say, hey, we're going to put this on our defense or we're going to put this on our offense. You trust the offense more, you go for it because that's who you're leaning on today. Like that is what it is. So like when you go into that moment and you're making that decision, just like I asked you guys, Dan's asking the staff, he's talking to himself. He said, who do I trust more tonight? And it's not a hit on either. I trust the offense tonight because we went into this week saying we're putting it on the offensive back. And that's what they did. Like they had a chance to end the game offensively and they did it. And I think that was the right decision because you knew what the game plan was and you knew the offense is playing better than the defense in that moment.
Yeah, and I'll say this about the defense because I know I want to get into the defense and talk more about it because I think when people – and I brought this up earlier, the 31 points doesn't tell the full story. Like Josh Jacobs was under 4 yards a carry. Like that to me is a W. That he's had some 150-yard games. He's had some 5-6 yards a carry games. They like to run the ball. They'll stick with it. And Josh Jacobs, 18 for 66. He scored 3 times, but 18 for 66 and had a 19-yard run in there. That was like the big break. But I thought the Lions' run defense, no Lee McNeil, no DJ Reader, Pat O'Connor, Zadarius Smith, Broderick Martin, and Muhammad. That's your run. That's your front four right there. I mean, And they did pretty good against Josh Jacobs, I'd say. And then Jordan Love, 12 for 20, 200 yards, 1 touchdown. To me, that's a pedestrian game. Like, that's like a solid game like that. And he had 30 yards at halftime. So, like, Jordan Love didn't have 300 passing yards, 3 TDs, where he's ripping apart the secondary. So I thought the defense, when you really look into the game, played well. Like, and especially given all the injuries. Like, I thought Jamal Adams, guys, he looked running around like a chicken with his head cut off. I mean, he was going in full force trying to make some plays. Like I mentioned, Quan played pretty well. You know, he was just out there being solid. Broderick, we got what we asked for. We saw some flashes. He didn't have a good game, but he had one play where he was in there. He was in the backfield a little bit, so you saw a little bit out of him. Pat O'Connor, I mean, are you shitting me? Pat O'Connor.
He was the defensive player of the game. I don't care what anybody says. Like, that first half was game wrecked because outside of that Za'Darius sack on the first play was game wrecked because of Pat O'Connor. Matt LaFleur had no clue what was coming. Big 9'5", the double sleeves. We've been talking about him, but seriously, like, and I'm not even trying to be funny right now. Like, I'm not trying to get, like, that dude was the defensive player of the game, in my opinion. Like, he had the one offsides. But outside of that, like, he was just making plays. He couldn't do no wrong. Like, if Pat O'Connor was on the field, he was making an impact on it.
If I'm the NFL, I'm testing him for PEDs right now. That man was on.
Yeah, honestly.
Test him for. Maybe I shouldn't say that. Maybe I'm ratting him out. But he did not look like
Pat O'Connor.
Jag. Yeah.
Remember what you were saying, Booner, when you're like, these guys, their careers are on the line. Like Pat O'Connor was genuinely
played like it.
Because think about all the injuries that the 13 guys on IR, some of those guys are going to come back. So some of these guys are going to get demoted to the practice squad. Maybe the Jamal Adams, Quan Alexander, David Longs, like the players who have been in the league, the journeymen, they're probably going to have a little bit more of an edge if they're playing at a high level compared to those guys. So these guys, to your point, Booner, like, they're playing to keep their spot after these injuries, because especially in that linebacker room. Because when Ando comes back, Derek Barnes comes back, John Kaminsky's a guy that we got to watch out for coming back. Like, John Kaminsky would probably be slotted in right where Pat O'Connor is. Like, if Kaminsky was healthy, he would have been where O'Connor was last night. So they're all fighting still. And it's great to see that they're not letting it get in the way either.
Yeah, and I think it's a good thing, honestly. We've seen for a while, though, like, AG defenses, like, guys step in and make plays. Like, just guys you just would not think, practice squad guys, journeyman NFL guys just step in and instantly are just making plays on this Lions defense. Pat O'Connor was unbelievable. I don't know how
El-Quadid.
El-Quadid?
Like, think about, like, he spells it like quad and then ID. El-Quadid.
El-Quadid. I like LQ. LQ Muhammad. I think that sounds sick.
AQM.
AQ Muhammad. AQ Muhammad, he was unbelievable yesterday too. He doesn't have a ton of stats. Actually, he's second on the team in tackles, with only 4. But like, it was just like, honestly, if you look at like the stat sheet, typically you'll see like Anzo with 8 or 9, like Jack Campbell 9 or 10, Brian Branch 6 or 7. Like, it was so spread out yesterday. Like, it was such a team effort defensively. Like, everyone flying around. Brian Branch was everywhere. Jack Campbell was everywhere. That defensive line, Za'Darius Smith, consistently getting pressure on the quarterback. Like, and I said after the game, like, feels like this 4th grade stretch of football for Za'Darius Smith, like 3 sacks, like 20 plus pressures, 7 or 8, quarterback hits. Like, this feels like his best 4-game stretch of his career. Obviously, we haven't seen him play a full, like, all the time in Cleveland. Like, we didn't get to see him all the time, but it feels like he's playing at his best right now. And like, AQ Muhammad, Pat O'Connor, like, those guys all were stepping up. Like, dudes were playing good football. Mitchell Agude was in on a couple. Like,
he was in there.
Guys were just playing, and it's like, I heard, who was it today? I think it might have been McAfee, or no, I think it was AJ Hawk. AJ Hawk mentioned it, and he asked Nick Saban a question, and he was like, hey, like, he was asking Saban, like, hey, like, defensively, especially like when you were in Cleveland or you're in different spots, like when you're, rotating guys and you're getting guys off practice squads and this, like, how do you balance making these schemes and giving plays and all these different calls versus just letting like football players make football plays and letting them fly around? And it feels, and they brought it up because of AG, and they were saying, like, it feels like AG a little, there's a sense of like, he just lets these guys play football. Like, yeah, you have your call, you have your assignment and what you need to do, but like, let these football players make football plays. Like, let them fly around and make plays. Like, that's why they are who they are and where they are in their career. So, like, just letting those guys do that. And I think it like takes a weight off some of these guys' shoulders and say, hey, just go play football, man. And you see it from all these guys. Yeah. And then like Pat O'Connor, like you even like you saw it with Commish 2 years ago when he was kind of that backup edge guy going in and out. Like he was just like having a good time. And then you saw it last year.
Houston. I mean,
James
look
Houston.
How James Houston actually is. And like, he was just like, he was having a good time. Like, I know it sounds stupid, but it's as far as like you're saying, like the be able to breathe. I feel like it would help you diagnose those plays. You know what I mean? Because you're not worrying about messing up. You're worrying about making a play. So I think it's completely lets you have a short memory.
With the John Comiskey thing, like his first year, like he was open, like he was a backup. He went in like weight lifted off his shoulders, just go play football. And then last year, remember he thrown to the fire. Like it didn't seem like he had that as much, and he didn't play as well. It's like these guys just are in the right positions, the right times. Like AG has been able to put these guys in the right spots, and like they're just like, just go play ball, go do it, and like fly around. Don't think about it. Like Nowatzki. Those guys like David Long in Miami. He had that weight on his shoulders probably to where he was just like strict, like boom, boom, boom. And now it's just like, just go play football, dude. Just go hit someone. Go hit someone.
Hey, David Long reached down. He jumped right over
Turner.
Yeah,
bro, that was the best tackle of the game. Yeah. And then one of the biggest moments too, because he made a tackle. I think it was on Caleb. No, it wasn't on Caleb. Either way, in the Bears game, that's the first time I like saw him. But I still, like you said, Jeff, like I didn't know who the hell it was.
Jeff looked at me and goes, "What's his first name? Zeke, I think.
I don't know.
Ezekiel.
Yeah, I don't.
Because even like
transparency, I'm not going to act like, oh, I knew about Ezekiel. No, I didn't. I didn't know about Ezekiel Turner. What I did know is his defense. Once they get guys back, you're going to get Aleem. You're going to get DJ Reader. You'll already have Za'Darius. So you get three guys. Josh will come back eventually. By the time they get to the playoffs, this defense will be back to mostly what they were. No Aiden, which is huge. But still, but you'll have your guys you've had with Za'Darius.
Even just like DJ Reader coming back, it's just like.
Yeah, and then you get Enzo, which is like huge. And if they can get Barnes back at the playoffs, now you're like, okay, we're good.
I'd be really interested to see how Derek Barnes looked because he looked like he was about to put together a very nice season.
He did last year. Good. He had a career year last year, and then this year was his contract year. And he was playing at that Sam position, and like that was like, remember they were like, I think he was an edge rusher in college, and I think, or he played more edge at times, and that was like perfect for him. What?
Nothing.
Oh, what you sold? What'd you buy? How much did you buy in it?
Remember we were talking about the other day? I used to have probably like $400 to $500 worth of Cardano, and like that's like how much. And it's like, and it spiked one day randomly, and I opened up like the Coinbase app after, and I would have made like crazy amounts of money, and it was kind of higher, so I sold it, and I just really haven't put any money back into it. I checked it earlier. But bro, just because the stock market's going crazy right now, it's just something that just sticks in the back of my head because you can go back and see like weeks ago, and there was just one day where it was just crazy through the roof.
Hey, you don't have that Dan Campbell grit, you just
I lack the awareness. Yeah,
if you're in stocks, dude, you got to like look at that like every day and just be constantly obsessed with it. It's something different, man.
Now, I will say this about the offense, Jared Goff, dude. And honestly, I guess, well, real quick, before we go to the offense, I want to ask you, I mean, unless you want to do it all in one, Boone, but you want to do the MVPs as we talk about each side of the ball, or you want to just go through a whole MVP conversation? Because
I mean, we could do defensive ones right now.
Yeah, because I would love to hear your guys' defensive MVPs. Like, and for me,
and the two defensive MVP and unsung hero, because I think it's interesting to see who the best player was and who you think was like,
So for me, defensive MVP. I would say when I thought about it, there's a couple guys I was contemplating putting in there. I'm gonna go with the guy that my narrative. I'm gonna go with the guy that I picked to kind of be the shining star of the game on defense. I'm gonna go with Jack Campbell. Led the team in tackles, had double the closest guy, and I thought Jack did a good job in the run game. He was active. He had the hit on Tucker Kraft that Lucas kind of brought up earlier. And I thought having Jack Campbell there at middle linebacker playing that Mike spot, it is comforting knowing you got that dude at middle linebacker. So I'm gonna go for me MVP, the guy who led the team in tackles, 8 tackles for Jack Campbell. I'm gonna go with Jack.
I mean, you want to go, Booner, or you want me to?
You can go. I don't think you'll have mine.
Yeah, I honestly, again, not even trying to troll. If I had to pick a defensive MVP, if you're picking Jack, I'll try to find a different one. Outside of him, I'm going with Muhammad, man. Like, he was making plays all night. He was setting an edge, and there was a run that Josh Jacobs was about to break off for. And you could see it was about to be one of those Josh Jacobs run where he breaks a tackle and he gets 10, 20, 30 yards. But Muhammad held him back and let the boys get there. And he was applying pressure all night, got a QB hit. But I just think the way that he was able to still perform and put these consistent games together and get better and better and better, it was so important. So you got Darius Smith, who I think played good. He obviously had the sack, but if there's another guy like Muhammad, I definitely think has to be up there. And I think specifically because of that play he made at the end, stopping Josh Jacobs on that run.
It's interesting. My MVP was just Aaron Glenn. I don't know. He's not a player. I could do that. No, I could do that. Well, I mean, Klotzy picked Mohammed. Where if we were talking about Mohammed, I had him as my unsung hero. We're talking about MVP here. I had him as my unsung hero. So, hey.
I mean, technically better than Aaron Glenn. I mean, Aaron Glenn.
No, not at all. I mean, Darius Smith had a better game than Mohammed, and we're talking about MVP here. AG was the one that had this team together. Like 13 guys on the IR, guys, and that's not counting the 3 defensive linemen that were on the injury report.
Yeah.
That's 16 guys defensively out. 16, either a starter or a backup. That's literally, you can only play 11. Let's talk about if there's a first team, second team, let's say 22. 16 out of the 22 first and second team guys are out. That's incredible.
It is.
That is incredible. For you guys not to say AG MVP, well, that is disrespectful.
We were going players.
The rule, I made this segment up. There was no rule on it. I didn't say give your player MVP. You know what? MVP of the defense.
Let's just say we all agree Aaron Glenn. How about that? We all agree. Because there's no.
That's the man has to get credit somehow. If no one's going to give him credit, I'll do it and step up.
Well, yeah, he's the coach, so that's just like the. Well, you know what? I will say. Okay, I will say Aaron Glenn, excellent. Okay?
I'm still my unsung hero. LQ Muhammad, AQ Muhammad.
I'm gonna go with Terrell Williams, my unsung hero.
Love that. I love that pick. Actually, that's huge. No, I do. I love that. That's a great unsung hero.
I'm not going.
You should. That's a great one. Think outside the box a little bit, huh, fellas?
Yeah. No. Yeah. I didn't. I'll go. I didn't know we were
absolutely shook over there. I mean, dude, you can think outside the box a little bit here.
Hey, this one's easy for me, boys. If you're going the unsung hero,
you're gonna say Pat O'Connor.
No, I'm gonna say Zeke Turner. Zeke Turner. That play at the end was Zeke Turner. That's the guy that I think unsung hero. He didn't have that much of an input on the stat sheet, but he looked good again. And then that play really sealed the deal for him. And I think that's, again, 2 straight games where he's made an impact play at stopping the run. And I think that one was huge together because that just swayed momentum. So I'm going to go with Zeke Turner.
I can't get a read on Klotzy, man. This guy throws me off all the time, man.
Come on now.
It's incredible.
Your toes, boom.
I mean, all day, like all day or the last 24 hours. I mean, after the stream yesterday when we're getting food or playing the game where this man just could not stop talking about Pat O'Connor. Wake up this morning, the first thing out of this man's mouth is Pat O'Connor. And we get here to defensive, not MVP, unsung hero. The man doesn't even say Pat O'Connor. I literally when I thought of this segment, I was like, okay, how can we? I was like, I'm setting Klotzy up to talk about Pat O'Connor a little bit. I would like to give Mohammed a little praise. I'd like to get AG some praise. Klotzy didn't even go Pat O'Connor. No one went to Pat O'Connor.
Gotta communicate then, Boone.
I think I know the boys. Oh, Jeff.
Yeah, I gotta know you guys. I gotta know you guys better. I do. I was thrown off by some of the AG one. Really, I'm gonna be honest, shook me up. I
think outside the box. I always do stuff like that.
Yeah. Unsung hero Pat O'Connor. That's who I'm going with.
Love that. I love that.
Yep. Well deserved by him. Well, for the offense, you want to get an offense MVPs, and we'll talk more about the offense.
Yeah, I let's do it. I think offensive MVP. I'll do this. I think the whole game it was one player who, at this point you're talking about him, Klotz. You brought it up, and I put it out there. Probably what month are we in right now? December. How many months ago was June or May? Long time ago, right? Or June, probably June. Talking about Jared Goff going to Los Angeles for the NFL awards as an MVP finalist, and I think after last night, Josh Allen, Saquon Barkley, Jared Goff. That's your MVP trio right now. That's going to be a finalist. And I think after last night, Jared Goff putting up 280, 3 touchdowns. Yeah, he had the interception, but the man, if you don't have Jared Goff yesterday, I talked about it on Friday. Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday. Offensively, like you have to get going offensively, and it was going to be the run game a little bit. And then as soon as that shuts down, and you notice, hey, Gibbs isn't getting anything in the run game isn't really there. You turn your head instantly and you go, Jared, like, hey, we need our quarterback in this game. Like those are the games where, as a quarterback, as a leader of the football team, you have to be like, yep, I'll put you guys on my back here. Let's go play some football. And he wasn't just making easy passes. He was stepping up in the pocket. He was moving. Remember, we kept seeing Amon-Ra open just 5 or 7 yards every single time. He was not making the easy play. He was like, hey, we're getting a 20-yard play here to Tim Patrick. We're going to Jambo downfield here. I'm going to make sure we're going to make – or Sam Laporta. Like, I'm going to make sure we're making plays and winning this football game. So I'm going to go Jared Goff as my MVP. While you guys talk, I'm going to look at his odds for MVP as well, see if we're updated here.
Yeah, I'll go offensive MVP. I'm going to go J-Mo. For me. J-Mo led the team in receiving yards. He honestly, and by the way, him bouncing back from the Chicago game was super important. It was awesome to see him make a ton of plays. He was clearly the one, even though a lot of receivers made plays, maybe Klotzy's guy got in pay dirt a little bit, but they all had similar kind of yards. J-Mo's 80 yards from J-Mo. He's my offensive MVP. He had big plays when they needed him to. Didn't have the bomb for a TD, but I'm going to go with J-Mo. Led the team in receiving yards.
Both cute pick, fellas. Both great picks. I can't be mad at it.
I'm giving you a layup.
I'll give you the correct pick. TP17. Tim Patrick. He heard the Josh Reynolds noise. He heard it. Practice squad's fine, but he heard that chirp. Our beloved Caleb put out a tweet. He said, yeah, Tim Patrick's nice, and then it was a picture of Josh Reynolds catching a 2-yard touchdown. Tim Patrick. 2 tutties, both in the red zone and angle situations, and on 4th down, he was constantly moving the chains, and it was in the biggest moments. They weren't worried about Amon-Ra St. Brown, but it sure seemed like that when you look at their defensive package. J-Mo was making plays like Jeff just said, but when they really needed it, most, who was there? Tim fucking Patrick. MVP, boys. That's offensive MVP.
I love it.
Yeah.
By the way, well-deserved Timmy P, man.
Klotz? Picked the right guy there, brother. Proud of you.
Yeah, two scores, and that route you posted on your Twitter. By the way, Twitter's at the bottom. You can give us a follow.
Klotz, what's that? There's something behind you over your shoulder.
No,
other shoulder, bro.
It's your right one.
What is it? Oh!
Got him. For what?
Yeah,
talking about Tim Patrick right now, and you're taking the shine.
I should have known if a TD was coming soon. He hasn't scored all year.
He was due for it, dude.
Boys, remember in the playoffs, he's gonna get one of them. Against Philadelphia. That's when it'll happen.
Dude, hey, think about this though, fellas. It's a good thing Tim's gotten going, and like Sam got going yesterday. You're about to get into. Did he freeze like that? Oh, you froze like that for a second. That was funny. I've been saying it all week. Like Sam Laporta is going to get going at some point, and like as soon as he gets going, all right, that's another weapon you have for the playoffs. Now Tim Patrick's going. Like everyone on your offense is going. Like, and imagine now Khalif is going to come back at some point. This offense is going to be the hardest offense to stop in the playoffs. It's going to be tough.
What's Jared Goff's MVP odds? Did you look?
Oh, he's now. So before, remember, he was, I think, the 6th best favorite behind Patrick Mahomes. It was like Josh Allen, Saquon, Lamar, Patrick, and then Jared. Right now, it is Josh Allen minus 250, Saquon plus 400, Lamar is still in there at plus 900, but he has 5 losses. They have 5 losses. So I don't see him. He should be out of it.
Yeah, he was my MVP. I can admit, no longer MVP.
When you lose that many games, you just can't be in it. And then right after Lamar Jackson, it's Jared Goff at plus 1,200. And then Patrick Mahomes fell below him. Jalen Hurts below him. But it's essentially like I would say right now it's Josh Allen with a pretty good lead. But if Jared this week, I think if you look at next Sunday with Jared and Josh Allen, it's like an MVP head to head. I don't know if I said it twice, but head to head type matchup. Like if Jared goes in there and throws for 300 with 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, and they win the game, you're going to see those odds like fluctuate really quick.
And I'll even one up you because I agree with you. If they put up, by the way, if he wins that game and plays well, and they put up their stats side by side, Jared clears them and everything. Like he clears like passing touchdowns, passing yards. Like he is up there in the most important cat. Like if passing yards and passing touchdowns, he has more than Josh Allen.
If you truly think like Jared, like the Lions are going to beat the Bills and Jared's going to dominate that game, I would say right now at plus 900, go bet Jared Goff MVP. I sprinkle a little bit on it because as soon as that game's over, if to your point, Jeff, like if he outplays him and then you put the season stats side by side and then you also go a record and then you also go, hey, they played each other. What did the matchup look like? That's when you're going to go, oh, Jared actually might have a good chance at this thing. Unless Saquon just keeps doing what he's doing. But I do think it's like a head-to-head thing on next Sunday, which is exciting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw it. But I saw Goff being talked about by Calvin. I did see that. I have the reel here from the Up and Adams show. I could play. It's on Instagram, but I could still play it. It's kind of like a weird. It's a little different from like playing X videos, but I could still play it if you guys like. Calvin on Jared. Let me.
I just wasn't sure.
Yeah, let me throw it up. Screw it. Let me just see. Let's see what Calvin had to say here. Hold on. Let me see. All right. Let's check it out. Hold on.
And I'm right here.
Looking at these people on the screen here, I mean, knowing where Detroit's been and where Detroit's going to, when you hear one player's name chanted, not obviously at home field, but when you go to every other stadium and you hear this man's name chanted, you know what he means to the city. You know, and obviously he means everything, obviously, to Detroit. But, I mean, for him to be mentioned with the likes of all these players that are on the screen, it's really imperative for what he's done in his time here in Detroit.
Hey, go talk. Mm-hmm. Yeah, talk to him. Talk to him, Megatron. I like that. And
like
I love it.
Think about when you got the notification.
Nick Wright doesn't deserve to talk about Jared Goff.
Go ahead, Klotz. I'll respond to Caleb.
Well, when you got the notification on your phone that Matthew Stafford's been traded to the Rams and Jared Goff is a quarterback of Detroit, did you ever think for a second that you'd see him up there in the conversation for MVP 3 years later, 4 years later, whatever it is, that even if he had success, it would even be to that extent? That's why it's you can't give him the MVP award because of that, especially just when it's a year-to-year award. But it speaks, like Calvin said, so highly because even Stafford, and I'm not going to go on a Stafford knocking spree, but he was never in the MVP tier that Jared Goff is right now. He would always be like a fringe top 5 quarterback. He'd be like, people would be like, no, watch Stafford. He's a top 5 quarterback. And be like, Either way, but it's not to the tier that Goff's playing right now as far as MVP performance and caliber in the biggest moments.
I mean, yeah, it is. It's a matured Jared Goff. His game, he just the 5 interception game is what it is. But if you take that away, he's 25 TDs, 5 picks. Like he's balling. 25 and 10. He's still playing well with 4 games left. He'll get 30 and 12 this year, whatever. 30 and 12 touchdowns. I wanted my unsung hero. I will say if we're gonna go on offense, my unsung hero, I'm gonna go with Dan Skipper.
No.
Yes.
Dan. Oh no.
Yeah. No, is that yours?
Dude, I'm gonna be. I know I made this segment for the panel. One thing I wanted to do is I only added unsung hero was for me to say Dan Skipper. That was it. That was literally it. I messaged you guys on the side. I said we better do unsung hero for all.
I don't think he allowed a sack at all.
No, Jeff, all right, let me take Dan Skipper. You listen to Boone real quick, all right? Dan Skipper, 44 pass protection snaps or whatever you want to call it. That man, Jeff, you're talking about didn't give up a sack. He gave up 1, total pressure all football game. Dan Skipper gave up 1 pressure and 40-plus dropbacks. 1. Klotz, Jeff, what did we talk about on Tuesday, Wednesday with Skipper? There were conversations of people maybe in the chat, maybe online. So he can't pass protect. He can't do it. He doesn't know how. He's a run blocker. And what did I say, boys? This is his – oh, no, this was on Twitter Spaces. This is not on our show, but on Twitter Spaces. One thing I said, the man's getting reps in. He's in his 3rd game at left tackle. 1 pressure, Jeff. 1.
Hey, very fine take about Skip. He was yakking after the fucking the game too. I think that play call had him shook. I don't think Skip was ready to be out there on 4th and inches, but hey, he sold out and he played his ass off. My unsung hero.
I'll take the flop too. I'll take the flop. I like that.
Oh yeah, that with Quay Walker.
I like that.
Thinking outside the box.
I like that.
My unsung hero, fellas. The flag holder. The flag holder that had LaFleur shook before the game, set the tone for that defense, for LaFleur, for Jeff Iafrate. The flag holder that looked at LaFleur and said, it's over. You don't stand a chance. It's over. He's my unsung hero. I don't care if offensive, defensive. I don't care. That's my unsung hero of the game.
Hey.
Hate it, Boone, all you want.
Hey, no. Think outside the box. I like it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I like it.
Fair enough.
Flag holder, triggering Matt LaFleur. I don't hate it. Fuck him. That guy, I want that guy. Oh, by the way, you should post a social media video. So let's get the identity of that band.
I think
he's in a city.
Would love to get him on the show.
I think another show had him on already.
No,
hey,
I think the Heavies had him on.
That's fine. I'd still love to have him on.
That's all, dude.
I could be wrong.
Yeah, this dude's a
Hey, look at this guy, by the way. Hold on, wait for it. This guy just staring like, what's going on?
I was just taking it all in.
And he's like, I'm not dealing with this. I'm letting this happen.
Yeah, that's wild. Oh, that's wild. Yeah, that dude is a legend. I love it. I absolutely love it. We'll get to our pick'ems in a little bit here, but yeah, unsung hero, Skip. We agree there. Flag holder. I don't even know his name. I just call him flag holder. I really don't know the dude's name, so we'll just go with that.
Legend. And the cheese grater guy too. That guy's a legend.
That dude. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he really did. Silence says, unfortunately, he was escorted out of the stadium later. Yeah. Xavier D says LaFleur lost some credibility there. Yeah, I mean, that dude has always been a whiner. Klotz always gives him shit. So, well, fellas, before we move on to Pick'em with Caleb and Mike, which we will do that. It's Friday, so we'll get into our Pick'em. I want to bring up number 1 seed, still alive. Still alive. Lions, Eagles chasing after it. Now the Eagles have pressure on them. Who do they face? Who do they face this weekend? Now I have to know. Let's see here. Who do they face? They face the Panthers. Son of a bitch. Well, the next week they face the Steelers. So, all right. Lock in, please. All right. Lock in. Let's go. Let's go. Come on. Let's lock in.
Lock in, boys.
Number 1 seed, Lions, Eagles. It's alive. The bye week is alive. That's what matters right now. Lions have the chance to get guys healthy, and you get the guys the rest in the playoffs, which they need right now really bad.
I'll say this. Am I worried? I saw a post today that the Lions have an 86% or 85% chance of getting the 1 seed. The problem with that is the Lions, I think, have maybe a couple harder games than the Eagles, to where if you could say the Lions win out, but it's just like with the Eagles, though, they have such an easy schedule. That Steelers game, fellas, we have to have a watch party for that Steelers game, because that Steelers game. Hey, lock in, boys, huh? Lock in. What are we doing?
I'm paying attention.
I don't know if you are. But the Steelers game, like we should have a watch party with that, like because that's going to be like, hey, we need that Steelers to win, so it gives you a little bit of flexibility there. The tiebreaker, I think the Lions have the tiebreaker because I think the common opponent, I think might have been the Packers. I could be wrong, but I think the Packers and the Lions beat them twice, and the Eagles did beat them once. But then I think it goes to maybe conference all that. Like, I'm interested.
I wonder who else did. No, but I think the number 1 seed. It's something that they don't necessarily, by definition, they don't need it. But by how this team has been playing with all the injuries they've been facing, it would be so crucial because even the fact that I don't even want to hear about the Jared Goff on the road narrative because, it would suck going into Philly. But if it's bad conditions for Jared Goff, it's going to be bad conditions for Jalen Hurts. And right now as a quarterback, I trust Jared Goff in bad conditions over Jalen Hurts because with this run defense, I think they'd be able to contain him just fine. Saquon's the guy you got to worry about. But they've been limiting running backs all year. So I'm not scared of the Goff narrative. Why I think it's essential to have the number 1 seed. But when you just look at the Alex Anzalonis, the Derek Barnes, even all these guys that are getting banged up and just could use a week to heal. That's why I think it's so vital. But either way, Detroit on the road, at home, they're going to find their way into the Super Bowl. So I'm confident either way, but it definitely helps having that extra week off.
Yeah, they need it right now. I mean, the injuries, bye week couldn't come quicker if they do get it. Like, I want the bye week now. I'm all in. You need it. They're honestly, out of all the teams in the NFL, they need it the most. There's no question about it, especially in the NFC right now. Eagles aren't as banged up. No team is in the NFL. So
at least you control your own destiny at the end of the day. You know, like you're not sitting there and it's like, we need another team to lose. Not like you just control it. Like if you go beat the Bills, even like say you drop one to the Bills, like or you just drop one more game, you have a beat up 49ers team you should beat. The Vikings team at the end of the you should beat that Vikings team at home. The Bears team, like they just fired their coach. All of that. It's like you have to be able to take care of your own business. I'm confident, Dan. Like 4 games left, guys. If I would have told you guys at the beginning of the year the Lions are 12-1 with 4 games left, we would have been like, whoa.
Oh, it's crazy. Yeah. I mean, looking at it right now, 12-1, number 1 seed's alive. Like I don't give the injuries stink, but still best team in football. I mean, no question about it. Let's get in Mike and Caleb in here. We'll do our pick'em every Friday. We go through the NFL slate, give our picks for the spreads of the game. We do our totals and we have our records. Full transparency. I don't have the graphic for our records.
No.
Yeah, I don't. I do not. Do you have them written down, Boone? Because you give them to us.
I do. All right. I guess I could just share my screen and show you the pick sheet from last week that I have, so people can at least see the record. I guess.
Let's see the updated records.
We'll make sure there's no important information in here.
It's like your bank your bank account or something.
Yeah, I just want to make sure. It's just the document that I use.
Get doxed. Like your address is in there.
I hope nothing bad's in this. So I don't think there is. All right. Pull it up, boys. All right, here it is. This is how I keep track of the picks, if anyone was wondering. So welcome to my world.
Welcome to my world.
Welcome to my world. So in first place, still on top. Don't hate to do it. Don't want to do it, but I have to do it. Booner, 44-28. 9-3 last week. You see there. Gentry. Hey, Gentry's right there. He's like the Vikings or the Eagles with me right now. He just won't go away. He went 9-3 as well. 38-27. Jeff, 7-5 last week. 30. Hey, Jeff. Back to 500. Proud of you, brother.
That's all that matters. Yeah, we're back.
Proud of you, brother. That's we're the back. Kettle, whatever that say you say all the time. There you go.
It doesn't apply on this, Boone.
Sorry. Okay. And then the last two, the bottom two, I don't know. because we didn't do the graphic.
I had a pretty good week last week. Come on now.
Klotz 8-4. I think you should be above Caleb here, but last week I just had the same standings, so it didn't get moved. But I think Caleb 4-8 is now at the bottom again. At 25-33.
He's clawing. That's
so he is right there, man.
He won't go down swinging.
Caleb's
no, he's going down swinging.
No, he won't.
Caleb, he just won't die. He just won't die.
All right, let's bring him in. There's the record.
Those animals, a cockroach. You just keep trying to kill him, and he's like, "I'm still making picks. I'm still going."
He's Randy Marsh. That's what he is.
Disrespectful. That's disrespectful.
Let's bring here. Hold on. Let me get the introduction for the boys. So we got Michael Gentry in here. Let's bring in Mike. All right, what's going on, Michael? How you doing?
Gentlemen, how we doing?
Oh,
hey,
you doing great. Hey, no Caleb slander. Just so you know, if there's anyone that's key, it is my friend Caleb. He's about to have.
He's getting sassy back there. Look at him throwing his hands all over the place.
No Caleb slander. All right, 4-8. This week's gonna be better for him. All right.
Where's this when I have bad weeks, Unc? You're over there stomping on me like a cockroach or something, just waiting for me to die.
Not true. True, Klotz.
Hey, you know what that? Wait,
I always bring you up. I never rip you down.
You know what this means? The man who's coming in for revenge this week in the pick'em. It is Caleb Zarnik. Look at this man.
What a warm welcome from Boone calling me a cockroach. That's nice.
That was a compliment. You won't die.
I'll never fucking die.
Exactly.
I'll never die. But there has to be a better comparison than a cockroach. But let me say this, boys. Let me say this real quick. I think you guys did a great job on the show today. I think you did a great job kind of showing how insufferable this Packers fan base is. I mean, I've been scrolling Twitter all day. I had to make a post myself about it. It's been unreal. They just don't know how to lose properly. They're sore losers. It's been ridiculous all day on Twitter. They're making it impossible to go on the internet right now. But yeah, let's get into this pick 'em. I'm excited. Victory Friday.
Let's
go, Caleb.
Let's begin. Let's do our pick 'em. I gotta bounce back this week. We gotta get into it. So come on. Lock in. Let's go. I gotta go undefeated.
All right.
Call pass, brother.
Speaking into existence. All right. First game. Raiders Bucks. Oh,
the Raiders.
Raiders travel to Tampa, take on the Bucks. Bucks -6.5. Boone. Bucks -6.5.
Boone.
In Tampa. Does anyone know who the Raiders quarterback is?
Aiden O'Connell.
He's back. Okay. Give me the Bucks -6.5. Mike Evans back. Bucks are rolling. Bucks have a chance to win their division. And I think they're gonna. You guys know the Bucks down the stretch. Final 4 or 5 games, they find a way to win the division. Jeff, you should be a little worried. Me and you head to head here. Bucks Falcons to win the division at down the stretch. Honestly, I think all of you boys picked the Falcons to win that division. I think I was on an island here with the Bucks. So all of you boys should hope the Bucks don't win these last couple games, because I'm going to let the boys know. Give me the Bucks -6.5.
Yeah, Boone. I also did take the Vikings to win the division, but I do not care in this instance. It's for the pick 'em. Give me the Bucks -6.5. Like you said, Mike Evans returned. The offense is starting to flow again. It's getting a little bit healthier on the defensive side of the ball. The Raiders are absolutely awful. Give me the Bucks -6.5.
Hey, are we going to go off the standings that were just released, or are we going to just go off of...
No, the standings.
Jeff's next. Yep, Jeff, you're next.
Oh, I always do that.
Jeff, Klotz, and then Caleb.
Give me the Bucks. Yeah,
I think the Bucks. Dude.
Hey, no. Give me the Bucks. Give me the Bucks.
Yeah, I mean, Brock Bowers, who apparently is a bald Booner, great player, but he can only do so much. And we got Levante David, who's going to be covering. Levante David's one of the best linebackers in the pass coverage in NFL history. So give me the Bucks. Baker's been playing good ball. Bucks will cover at home for sure.
Yeah, give me the Bucks here -6.5. Yeah, you saw Max Crosby make some comments about that locker room and how he's not happy with the way this team's playing. It's a disaster in Vegas right now. Give me the Bucks. Easy.
Hey, well, next game we got a rematch, divisional rematch. Browns at Steelers. No snow, I don't think, in this game. It'll be good. It'll be a good game. Browns at Steelers. Steelers -6.5.
This is a tough one because this coincides with all my hate this, man. I always take Mike Tomlin. I didn't take him a couple weeks ago. Bit me, and you know what? I just think these AFC North games, man, they're tough. They're tough games, and I know that you could say, well, Boone, they just beat the Bengals, but they only beat them by 6 points, boys. It was only by 6 points. They lost to the Browns last game. I think the Browns and Jameis Winston, he was the most electric player in the NFL. If he's not a starting quarterback next year, the NFL should be sued. I'll sue them myself. Give me the Browns +6.5 today or on Sunday.
I'm surprised, Boone. You went away from Mike Tomlin and your Steelers, but I'm also going the Browns plus 6.5. I just think it's too much points. Like you said, the divisional games, they're always close. You've seen kind of the Browns offense, even though Jameis has been turning it over, they've been able to put up some points. So I think that will kind of stay the same this week, even with the Steelers pass rush and defense just being elite. But I'll take the Browns plus 6.5.
Dang, I thought we were gonna get more Steelers early on. I'm gonna take the Browns. I think they cover. These games are gonna be close.
Oh,
The way Jameis played last week, I think they're pissed off that Broncos game got out of hand for them, and I think they respond. They keep this game close. I don't think they'll win, but I think they'll cover.
Yeah, I think Browns will cover as well. I think the Lord will deliver Jameis Winston from the pick sixes, and the Browns, 2 of their 3 wins are from AFC North matchups with the I think it was they lost to the Bengals, but I think it was, let me look real quick so I'm not talking on my ass real quick. It was against the Ravens, and then the Steelers, they've already beaten them, so they can do it again with Jameis Winston. They have the number 1 offense in the NFL since he's been the quarterback there. So yeah, Browns will cover.
Damn, boys. I thought we would have a little variety here. I mean, the standings aren't going to mix so much. I'm going to take the Browns plus 6.5 too. I think it's been like 20 years or something since the Browns have won at Pittsburgh, which is crazy. I think the Steelers win the game, but I think the Browns stay in within the 6.5. So I'm going to take the Browns.
All right, next game. Jags at Titans. Titans minus 3.5.
Is T-Law active? Do we know, guys?
He is on IR. He's on the IR.
Yeah, on
He's
IR.
done for the year, basically.
Whew.
Mac Jones season.
I'm going to go. I want to see here real quick. It's still 3.5. I want to make sure they move to 3. I think this is easy. Caleb, you can go Mac Jones season all you want. It's a different one. It's Will Levis season. Give me the Titans minus 3.5 in this game. I don't know why it's 3.5 with no Trevor Lawrence. Will Levis is about to win this football game by a touchdown.
Yeah, I'm also sticking with Boone here. I'm going the Titans. I mean, the Jaguars are overall, they're terrible on the defensive side of the ball. Mac Jones is terrible. I'm a little more confident in the Titans defense being able to shut down that whatever's left of that Jacksonville offense. So I'll take the Titans minus 3.5. But that's the worst game on the slate, without a doubt, I think.
Yeah, I think the Jags are in full tank mode. I mean, Trevor's out. At this point, it's just let's see how many losses. Doug Peterson's lost the locker room. I have no reason to pick the Jags. The Jags that with Trevor Lawrence did enjoy. But I can't even defend them. I hate this pick, but I'm going with the Titans.
Wait, so it's Titans are the dogs?
No, they're
Titans minus 3.5.
I'm just looking at these games, fellas, okay? And I'm thinking out loud here because this is just such a shit matchup. I don't know what to pick. When they played the Eagles, only lost by 5. Then they played the Vikings, only lost by 5. Got their dicks kicked in against the Lions, and only lost last week by 3. And some of those games were with Mac Jones. On the Titans, definitely are worse than. I'm going to take I need to make a play here, and I don't think it's crazy out of reach. Maybe it is. I'm gonna take the Jags to cover. They'll definitely lose, but I'll give them the cover.
I love all the examples you use. It's a 3-point spread. The examples were they lost by.
I know,
5,
but the teams are much better. The teams are much better.
Look, I want to make a move here too, Klotz, but I really like Titans minus 3.5. It's an ugly game. A game that only degenerates are gonna bet on, and I'm gonna bet on it. I'm gonna take the Titans minus 3.5.
Love that.
Love it. All right, next game we got Falcons at Vikings. Vikings minus 5.5. Kirk Cousins' return.
Hey, I think the return. I think there's more juice for Kirk Cousins on his end than there is for the Vikings team bringing him back. I think Kirk has a little revenge. You know those games you guys see, fellas? Kirk Cousins that's like 300-400 yards. You're like, what's happening? I feel like that's what it's about to be. It's going to be a high scoring affair, and then Kirk Cousins is going to go out there and dominate, throw a lot of. I'm not going to say they're going to win the game. What is it? 5.5? You said, Jeff?
Yep.
Give me the 5.5 plus 5.5 Viking or Falcons.
I hate going behind Booner because it seems like I'm copying him, but I'm doing the same thing. I'm going Falcons plus 5.5. I mean, I think Kirk the last 3 games, I think he's thrown 7 interceptions and 0 touchdowns. I just think he kind of gets right this game. He's a little more to play for him. And I don't know, 5.5 just seems like a lot, even though the Vikings have been playing so well. I'll take the Falcons 5.5.
when we talked about the NFC North earlier this week, I think the Vikings lose this game. Like, I think this is where you start to see the Vikings start dropping some games. So I'm going to take the Falcons. Give me the Falcons.
All right, maybe this is another reach, but I just think when you look at Kirk Cousins, if anybody's going to know how to break down Kirk Cousins, it's going to be the guys that were coaching him the last couple of years. And I think Kevin O'Connell, he's going to light up that Falcons secondary. I know Jesse Bates is good, but you got Jordan Addison, who's put together some good games. You got Justin Jefferson, who's been Justin Jefferson. And I just think Sam Darnold's going to have another nice game. TJ Hawkinson get involved. I think the Vikings, I think they win by a touchdown. I do. But I'm not saying you guys are crazy, but Kirk's going to been playing bad football, and now you're going up against coaches who know how to keep you in playing bad football in bad situations.
Yeah, Jeff, I'm with you. I think Atlanta wins this game outright as well. I think Minnesota's come so close to losing so many weeks in a row that I think this is the week they do it. I think Kirk Cousins, a little revenge game here. So I'm going to take the Falcons plus 5.5.
All right, next game. We got Jets at Dolphins. Dolphins minus 5.5. Divisional game. Two teams playing like garbage.
I don't think the Dolphins should be 5.5 point favorites versus anyone. I'm just going to be honest, quite frank here. Divisional game, give me the Jets to keep it close. Plus 5.5. Give me the New York Jets. Fight for their lives.
God damn it, Boone. I'm doing the Jets plus 5.5. Same thing. I think Boone, I've been with the Jets all season, so this isn't me just jumping ship. They're shit. I picked them to win the division, so I got to back them somehow. So I'll take the Jets plus 5.5.
Well, this game is in sunny weather. Unlike last week, where I'm an idiot.
It's sunny weather.
Unlike last week, where I'm an idiot and I picked them in Green Bay. Give me the Dolphins. I think I'm a big Jets guy here. Before the season, I'm out. Jeff Ulbrich, you're a clown. Give me the Dolphins.
Yeah, give me the Jets. I just think that Breece Hall is due for a big game. I think Devontae Adams, Garrett Wilson, they haven't got it going recently. Like you said, sunny weather, Jeff. It's going to benefit the Dolphins, but it's also going to benefit the Jets. And I think they're a little bit better defensively. I know they've looked bad, but they're a little bit better defensively than the Dolphins are right now. So give me the Jets, 5.5.
Caleb. Oh, sorry. I'm with you guys. I was so in on the Jets coming into the season. I said on a previous show that I am so out on them now. They embarrassed me. Because I had them. I thought they were going to come out of the AFC. I thought they were that good. So I'm going to take the Dolphins here in the sunny weather.
Yeah,
minus
Caleb.
5.5.
Hey, let's go, Caleb.
Yeah,
let's. All right, love it. I love it. And by the way, Caleb, last week we picked the Dolphins. Didn't age well. This week we're gonna get our lick.
Yeah, that wasn't a
good luck, boys.
Good luck. We'll get our lick back. All right, next game. Saints minus 5.5 at Giants.
Oh my God, bro! There are some shitters this week.
Hey, this is going to be a good football game. Drew Lock at home, a dog, and I don't just mean he's a dog; he's an underdog. Give me Drew Lock and the New York Giants plus 5.5 versus weak Saints team. All right.
Yeah, I mean, these two teams are terrible. I know the Giants are probably more terrible, but, like, this spread is just too much for when there's two bad teams like this battling it out. So I'm also riding with Drew Lock. Give me the Giants.
Oh, no. Oh, this is not good.
I know, Boone. Honestly, I have to send you a screenshot just so you can see all this. So I'm not following you, but.
I will say this.
He's got something cooking.
Give me the Saints. Hey, give me the Saints. You know what? Give me Rizzy. I like him.
Bro said, "Give me Rizzy.
Give me the Dago." I think he covers. All right, they're gonna find a way. MVS over the top. They're gonna find a way to win this game by a touchdown.
Dude, the Saints just should not be favored by it. They should by 5.5 to anyone.
Give me the Saints.
Wait, the Saints are favorites.
Yep.
By 5.5.
Give me
on
the
road.
Giants. I thought the Giants were favorites. And I was like, I don't know, because Malik Neighbors might not play. Yeah, give me the Giants. Are you kidding me? Tyrone Tracy legacy game loading right on your head, Jeff. Wandale Robinson, good night. Derek Carr's not going to be able to sleep because of Brian Burns, all right?
Oh, no.
This is the Giants masterclass. This is my most confident pick of the week.
Yeah, this is one of the games this week that I had a question mark. written next to because I had no clue. But I see in the chat someone said Jeff and Caleb with their little jerk circle over there. So I'm gonna Jeff. There's no disrespect. I'm gonna fade you. I'm gonna go Giants plus 5.5. That's a lot of fucking points. The Saints are not. I know the Giants suck, but they're not. The Saints are not 6 points better than that.
Yeah.
They're just
for
not.
that
Saints
game.
are the worst team in the
fun.
NFL, bro. I don't care what anybody says. I can't stand the Saints.
Hey, get me out of that little circle
Yeah,
thing you
that's
got
on
going
me.
on
I
there.
don't click.
I thought you were trying to get a little circle thing going on there. I'm out on that.
All right, let's next game. Seahawks at the
Hey,
Cardinals.
professional Boone.
Seahawks.
Come on, Boone.
Seahawks at the Cardinals. Cardinals minus 2.5.
All right, this is an easy game, and I you know what? If I would hope that that there's a game where everyone is on the same game, it should be this one. The Cardinals played the Seahawks 2 weeks ago. They went to Seattle and played them. You guys know in these divisional games, it's hard to beat a team twice. The best teams in the NFL can do it, but when you're talking about teams in the middle of the pack, it's tough, and especially when you play them 2 times in a 3-week span. They are back in Arizona, back at home. Give me the Cardinals minus 2.5. They just lost to the Seahawks earlier. You have to give it to the Cardinals this time to kind of turn things around and get a win here.
All right, Boone. This is where we differ. I will take the Seahawks plus 2.5. I mean, like you said, they did play each other 2 weeks ago, but James Conner and their run game was irrelevant in that game. So if the Seahawks stick to that script, shutting down the run game, making Kyler Murray throw the ball, they held them to 6 points. I think it'll be kind of similar to that. I think if they do, I think the Seahawks win this game, but I don't think it's by much. So give me the Seahawks plus 2.5.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Seahawks too here. I actually don't mind Booner's point. I think it's a good point about middle of the pack teams. I just like the Seahawks. I like the matchup. I think it's favorable to the Seahawks. So give me the Seahawks.
I would like to switch my pick.
Nope.
I don't think that's allowed, Boone.
And you shouldn't, Booner, because you know why? People
kidding.
like he just used James Conner and irrelevant in the same sentence. They re-signed that man for a reason. Okay, James Conner is going to go in there. He's going to create some noise. Jonathan Gannon, he saw the weaknesses he gave up. Kyler Murray's going to put together a game. Trey McBride, those boys, they're going to win. I'm telling you. Boone, you made the right decision.
Hey, James Conner, 7 carries, 8 yards against the Seahawks.
You think they're going to keep him to 7
They're not going to let that happen.
time?
They're not going to let that happen again.
That's crazy work. Go ahead,
I know.
They're not going to let that happen again.
Crazy work.
I think this is my favorite pick of the week. I'm going with the Cardinals minus 2.5 here.
Yeah.
This division's getting insane. It's going to be fun to watch, and I think the Cardinals make it real interesting on Sunday. So give me the Cardinals.
All right, next game. Bears at 49ers. 49ers minus 3.5.
Best bet of the week. Best bet of the week, fellas. Everyone in the chat right now should put this on. This is the double trifecta. That doesn't make sense. Listen, I have 2 rules in football when I bet games. 1, if a coach gets fired, you hammer that team the next week. Number 2, the Detroit Lions hangover. You hammer the team after the Detroit Lions hangover. We have, guys, every single star I'm looking at in the sky outside this window right now, they just all aligned, and I'm looking at it like there's a UFO in the sky. This is unheard of, unprecedented.
Boom, those are 2 opposite things, though.
No,
because their coach got fired.
This is magnificent, Caleb. This is the
but
same exact thing. 2 things: when a team loses to the Lions, the next week they win, and when a team loses their coach, they go out and win. Both things happen. This team is going to be fired up. They just lost their coach. They have a new voice.
See what I'm saying?
No,
those are 2 contradicting things.
They're contradictions.
Not at all.
Yes.
The Lions
Yes, they are.
hangover doesn't help the Bears.
God. Oh.
Okay.
Oh.
No! Give me the Bears! Plus 3.5! They lost their head coach. Give me the Bears.
Oh, my God.
All right, give me the Bears.
Yeah. I mean,
Caleb, that's tough, huh?
I don't even know what to say. I'll take
What
the
a
Bears
moment.
plus 3.5 too. I mean, the 49ers are a little beat up offensively, and I don't think Bosa and them are still playing too. So I'll take the Bears plus 3.5.
Does anyone want to take the Lions hangover? Because I just messed that whole thing up. That's crazy.
Give me the Bears. Give me the Bears.
We all can't be on the Bears.
I'm still weak. And bro said he saw a constellation outside his window. It's never been seen before. Yeah, because it doesn't fucking exist. Yeah, that's no shot. But I'm with you, Boone. Give me the Bears. Give me the Bears.
I'll take the Lions hangover, Boone. I'll take the Lions hangover. Give me the 49ers. The stars are aligning for me, at least, when I'm seeing this game. And it's the 49ers beating the piss out of Caleb Williams and the Bears.
Yeah.
Boone, I'm sorry.
That's one of the greatest moments I think I've ever had in my life, dude. That was such a brain dead moment for me.
No, and then went on and still went and rambled.
What's crazy, boys, is I prep for the show every day.
You probably
hours.
thought we were talking about the stars and shit, that they were opposites. Dude,
I had this written in my notes. I was so ready to go.
Wait, boys. Yeah, it's Brock Purdy playing. I should be able to.
You can't change. No.
He full practice this week.
No Trent Williams.
All right.
No Trent Williams.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Full practice for Brock. Next game we have the Bills -3.5 on the road. Rams taking on
Easy.
The Rams.
Bills -3.5. Next.
Yeah, I'm going Bills.
The Rams, Matthew Stafford.
All right, Lucas. No Matthew Stafford slander here, but I am going to go the Bills -3.5 or whatever. Yeah, it's 3.5, not 2. Yeah, 3.5. I just don't think the Rams' defense will be able to keep up with Josh Allen. The offense is rolling. You've seen it last week in the snow. The team's hot, so I'll take them.
Ooh, I wanted to be the smartest guy in the room. Try and go with a big play here from deep. But I'm going to go with the Bills.
Caleb, are you going with the Bills?
No, I'm going to go with the home dog. I'm going to go with the Rams +3.5. I think it could be a 3-point game. That's why that hook here is so important. I think the Bills win by 3. Rams cover.
All right, well,
give me the Rams.
Going to be sweet, Boone. Lock me in for the Bills. Caleb's on an island.
All right,
I like it.
Last game: Chargers at Chiefs. Chiefs -3.5.
I think this is another easy pick here. The Chargers and Chiefs played last time. Chargers should have won. It was one of those moments again. Refs, this, that. Give me the Chargers. A 3-point game. It's going to be a close game. It'll be a good game Sunday Night Football. Give me the Chargers.
Yeah, I'm also taking the Chargers. I don't know the exact record, but I want to know what the Chiefs are against the spread this year because I swear it's not good. I know they've had a couple games where they have been double-digit spreads, so that's explainable, but I don't think they've been that great against the spread, and I think the Chargers are playing pretty good, so I'll take them +4.5.
I'm going to shave that thing.
Listen. Justin Herbert has never beaten Mahomes in his career. Will he get it done this weekend? No, but they'll cover. I think they'll cover. So give me the Chargers.
Yeah, this one's tougher for me just because it looks like Vlad McConkey might not play, but I think defensively, and just even with no Lad, this Chargers team is better than the Raiders, and that game was just another one where the Chiefs just squeaked out of there with the win. So give me the Chargers as well.
Real quick, they have not covered the spread in 6 straight games, the Chiefs, and
I knew it.
They are 5-7 against the spread this year, and they have in 6 straight. So they started the season 5-1 against the spread in the last 6 games. They have not covered in one of them.
They lost to Rasheed Rice and Pacheco.
Yeah, I think this is easy. Give me the Chargers on the road, +3.5. Like Jeff said, I think the Chiefs could do a Chiefs type thing and win last second. But I think the Chargers will cover. I think they'll cover that 3.5. I think it's going to be a great game. Is this Sunday Night Football?
Sunday Night Football.
That's awesome. That's
awesome. Was that a sweep? Did everyone take the Chargers?
Yeah.
Wow.
So.
Yeah.
Love that.
Fading Mahomes.
Yeah, I
have been enlightened.
I was close to taking the Chiefs, and I backed off of it.
I will allow you to switch, Jeff.
No, they haven't proved to me that. Last week was bad. I picked them to cover 11.5 against the Panthers or whatever it was 2 weeks ago, whatever it was, and they did not do that. So, or the Raiders, that's what it was. Yeah, the Raiders made it a game with Aiden O'Connell. I think he had 300.
They always do. The Raiders always give the Chiefs hell.
Yeah,
that's another. I know the Raiders suck, but like we talk about the Packers and Lions being a rivalry, that's a real rivalry too. Those two teams hate each other. Max Crosby hates Patrick Mahomes. I think. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure he does. That game always gets dirty, and I love it.
Yeah. Well, hey, good job, boys. Hey, pick them. We'll see how it ages. See how these ages. I need above 500 performance to be above 500 for the total.
Jeff, I'm going to put all my faith in you. I think you're going to do it. I want you to. As a friend, I want you to do it.
Thanks, Booner. I appreciate it.
Caleb, I said I hope you have a good week, but none of our picks align. So yeah. I don't know how this is going to work out. I mean, I think we have like 4.
I think you should just root for me. I think you think that's the play here.
You need it.
I might be America's team. Everybody wants to see me.
You're America's cockroach, Caleb.
To be
sure.
To be fair, Caleb, me and Unc have like the same exact picks, and we are 1 and 2, and we have been extremely hot. And you are on the opposite of us, so this is not, the odds do not lean in your favor.
Hey, you never know.
Okay,
you never know, Caleb.
You'll see. Let's get between the white lines, and then we'll do some talking.
we have been for 13 weeks.
I'm not saying
the numbers don't lie, right? Or do the numbers lie? Are they lying?
Pulling up analytics,
sometimes the numbers lie.
Do these numbers lie though?
I'm not coming.
I'm asking you.
Yes.
Okay. Have I made my picks? In between the white lines.
Listen, I'm not going for the top spot because I think that's mathematically impossible. I don't know if I could do it. I'm not going to put that on myself. But I want to end the season over 500. I want to end the season over 500.
Love that. You know what? Hey, Caleb. Love that for you. Let's go.
Okay, you know what? I'm coming for the top fucking spot. I'm coming for the top spot. I'm coming for the top spot. Don't give me that, Boone.
At that rate, that'll never happen. At the rate you're going right now, you're 100 games under 500.
Look, hey, we'll see. It's a new week. It's a brand new week. You never know what could happen. You never know what could happen. There's a lot of football left, Boone. A lot of football.
No, there's not. There's only 4 weeks left.
Glotz, that's true.
There's only 4 weeks left.
That's a lot of football to me.
I think we should extend it to the playoffs.
Okay, but
let's do it.
How many games back is
for the long haul, Boone? Does it make you nervous?
Hey, we should.
No, not
hey,
at
by
all.
the way,
Future in 0 weeks, Caleb.
Are you saying Klotzy's going to pass you too?
Hey, real quick.
Oh, it's only a matter of time till I surpass Jeff. We're close. He's what, at 500?
Oh, I know you ain't talking. Hey. Hey, I will say this. I hate doing this now because now it sounds set up. It sounds really set up. I don't mean this to be set up. But last place, we should have something. I mean, I know.
You can't do that.
I have an idea. I
can't do that.
I have an idea.
You should have did it before the year. I know.
Have you guys seen those fantasy things where you have to like go into a McDonald's for 24 hours and like each item is like a point off?
That's what for our fantasy league, my big money one. We did that with Waffle House last year, and then right now I'm in dead last place. I was telling Unc about this, and I'm playing the guy who's like second to last, and we have the same record. The loser has to get acrylic nails. And like,
no way, Klotz. Yeah. Imagine Klotz with the block head with acrylic nails.
Yeah. I can't lose. And I started Jaden Reed last night. I started Jaden Reed.
Oh no!
But I have Gibbs, Demont, and Goff, so they kind of pulled through for me. He had Amon-Ra though, so that hurt. That hurt him.
We made my buddy do a. Go ahead, Cloud. Sorry, I cut you off.
No, I was just saying it's going to be close. Alexander Madison, his RB2, so I have faith there.
Ooh, that's tough.
We made our buddy do a comedy show, and it was the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. He did like 10 minutes. I was fucking crying.
Oh, that's so bad.
I was crying.
It's a long time.
It is. He did a great job.
Laugh at all? Did he get a laugh?
I was laughing the entire time.
No, but like, did any of his jokes get a laugh?
Oh no, not at all. Because not at all.
Where did he do it at? Was this like a local, like with the boys? Like he was like giving a comedy?
It was it's like it's called Romeo. It's called Romeo Gold Studio. Shout out. They do like it was almost like what do they call those?
Speakeasy.
Like an open mic. What is it called, man? A talent show, kind of. Like people sang, did all this stuff. So there were like parents there with their kids, watching their kids go, and my friends up there swearing and stuff. It was funny.
Wait, what the hell is a talent show? I've never.
It was like a.
show. It's hilarious to pull up and do a
Boone's
comedy.
always wanted to do stand-up
like,
comedy.
I'm gonna do stand-up one day. It's just a matter of time.
Hey, why not now, Boone?
Hey, but the loser should be winning percentage. I mean, I'm pretty sure we were doing that anyways.
Yeah,
and then we should let the chat decide like 3 punishments, and then we should put it on the color wheel, Boone, live.
Oh,
this could get fucking miserable.
Yeah, I don't.
Hey, if you guys,
Hey, Caleb, you're so due. This is the perfect time to turn it around.
We have
like that.
The chat could be like get a tattoo or something. I don't know about.
Okay, well, I know, but like we'll pick 3 of them that aren't too crazy, Boone.
Yeah,
you know, no one's getting a tattoo here, but
nothing crazy. But I could fall.
Hey, Unc, you are. Look at your arm.
Yeah, you could, Jeff. And one of us could climb.
Klotz could just fall off a cliff.
I've already fallen. I've already hit rock bottom. I've been to last place in it too many times.
If you've hit rock bottom, where's Caleb at?
Bro, I'm like 2 games below him. Boone's my biggest fucking hater in pick'em. He's my biggest hater in pick'em.
No, Caleb, I genuinely, Caleb, we do a lot of bets together. I always want you to win. I always do. I'm always cheering for you.
Doesn't seem like it, Caleb.
This is what. Hey, Caleb, this is Dan Campbell mentality. Like I'm trying to get you to the top from hard love here. Some hard love, man.
Yeah, no, look, if the punishment's putting me in a McDonald's, and if I come in last, fucking go for it. Put me in heaven after losing all that. Go for it. I mean, that'd be pretty sweet. Or Waffle House, I'm right there. I might lose on purpose. So
yeah. What a legend. Funny, all right, hey, appreciate you all. Great show. Victory Friday show, man. Legendary. Love this. And by the way, get your merchandise. I got the hats here. You know, hold up. Yeah, there you go. We got the fuck the Packers stuff. The boys got like a Booner. Booner's got the look at the FDP. We got Booner.
Hell yeah.
Crunch time. The boys are all decked out. So hey, go get your stuff on the shop. Official CT Sports. We'll be back Sunday. By the way, Sunday.
Oh, we didn't even announce that. We should have.
Wow, yeah. This is why you should stay to the end of the show because you get these surprises. You know what I mean? So Sunday,
NFL
we're going to be live watching NFL games. We'll be having our bets in. It'll be a fun time. So
we have a challenge too. We have a challenge.
Are we doing it?
The 5 boys. We are doing 75 tacos by the 15 tacos each. We can mix and match. If someone does 20, it saves someone else. 75 tacos on Sunday while we're watching the NFL game. We'll be gambling. Tune in. We're going to be gambling. We'll give out our picks. We'll have them on the screen. Watching from 1 maybe until we're at least the 1 o'clock games and maybe the 4 o'clock for a little bit. But 75 tacos. The boys locked it in. I didn't even ask the boys if they really wanted to do it. Me hard launching it like this means we have to do it now.
Yeah, we'll see you guys Sunday. All right.
75 tacos, baby.
Be there. And have a great weekend. Stay blessed out there. And
love you guys.
Later.